State presented the report on behalf of the committee. It will be recalled that in May 2024, President Tinubu requested the Senate to approve 15 billion naira for Kebbi and 9 billion naira for Nasarawa, with no objections raised against the proposal. Following a voice vote led by Deputy Senate President Honorable Barau Jibrin, the Senate approved the promissory note program to address the outstanding claims and liabilities of both state governments.
Recommendation 1, that the Senate do approve the promissory note program to settle outstanding claims and liabilities of Kebbi State Government, the sum of 15,137,336,095 naira and 8 kobo only. Those in favor of this prayer, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Also, the sum of 9,542,651,786 naira only, naira 11 kobo only, be reimbursed to Nasarawa State Government for the construction of Lafia Cargo Airport. Those in favor of prayer 2, please say, or community 2, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. That the federal government prioritizes the settlement of incurred debts through the issuance of promissory notes for the settlement of outstanding reimbursement debts to states, judgment debts and other debt liabilities incurred by the federal ministries, departments and agencies to avoid further costs and liabilities to the federal government. Those in favor of this prayer, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. We thank. Let me commend the committee for a job well done, as the report was properly put together in the best manner possible.
In response to ongoing insurgency affecting power supply in northern Nigeria, Deputy Senate President Senator Barau Jibrin has confirmed that security agencies are gearing up to take decisive action against insurgents obstructing the repair of critical power lines. This initiative follows reports from the Transmission Company of Nigeria indicating widespread outages in the northeast, northwest, and parts of north-central Nigeria, primarily due to the vandalism of transmission lines, especially the Shiroro-Kaduna line. Speaking on the Senate floor yesterday, Senator Jibrin assured that the Office of the National Security Advisor is actively addressing the issue.
The Secretary of Senate is concerned about the lack of electricity supply in the northern part of this country. This is happening due to the fact that the electricity tower coming from within the area that electricity is taken to the northern part of the country was vandalized by terrorists. And it has become a problem for the TCN staff to get to where this occurred, to get it restored, because that area is being occupied by terrorists. Now, what has been done is, what is being done now is that the security agencies are putting their hands together to get to that spot and try to eradicate or take away the threat that is being there for quite a while.
Recall that Executive Director of Independent System Operations at the TCN, Engineer Nafisatu Ali, previously stated that the Shiroro-Kaduna transmission line, which is vital for supplying power to northern Nigeria, had been vandalized by insurgents. And moving on, Senate's initiative to establish a Federal University of Agriculture and Entrepreneurship in Bama, Borno State received overwhelming support from stakeholders during a public hearing held in Abuja. Sponsor of the bill, Senator Kaka Shehu Lawan, stated that the proposed university would be first of its kind in Africa. In his remarks, he emphasized urgent need for a specialized institution focused on agriculture and entrepreneurship, highlighting troubling trend of high unemployment rates driven by demand for white-collar jobs. Senator Kaka explained that entrepreneurship education aims to equip students with knowledge, skills, and motivation necessary for success in various fields, enabling them to identify investment opportunities and maximize returns. He pointed out that Nigeria urgently needs the university to address rising youth unemployment rate, which ranks second only to South Africa's.
Yes, a global youth unemployment index. Nigeria has an astronomical 53% youth unemployment rate, which places it second to South Africa, which has 61% youth unemployment. These worrisome statistics have negative effects on the nations generally, as they lead to geometric rise in social vices and crimes in the society, all in the quest for survival. However, there is a relief through the proposed university that focuses on agriculture and entrepreneurship education, which prepares the youths to be responsible and enterprising. The sad trend of high quest of white-collar jobs with attendant unemployment rate underscores the need for a specialized university with focus on agriculture and entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship education is the process through which individuals acquire a broad set of competencies that can produce greater social and economic benefits to individuals. It is a form of education that seeks to provide knowledge, skills, attitude to innovation, motivation of students for entrepreneurial successes in various facets of human endeavors.
In his welcome address, Committee Chairman Senator Mohammed Muntari Danduse reiterated that the specialized university would be a pioneering institution in Africa. On his part, President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, represented by Senate Chief Whip, Senator Mohammed Manguno, commended the initiative, noting that it would help mitigate youth unrest in the country.
A lot of farming activities and a lot of rare animals, I think, is timely and it is very important. What kudos to Senator Shehu Kaka, the son for presenting this very important bill to this nation, because it's a ground running which I believe the renewed hope agenda is part of the effort to ensure, and with our leader, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who is a critical stakeholder to the development of this country, I believe this school will have a speedy take-off so that it will reduce the restiveness, it will reduce unemployment, it will create value addition to this country.
This movement marks a significant step towards advancing educational opportunities in our nation, particularly in the northeastern region, which has endured numerous challenges in recent years. Education is the cornerstone of national development. We must prioritize and invest in institutions that will drive innovation, sustainability, and economic growth. The proposed university is not just an academic institution, but a beacon of hope and empowerment for the youth of Borno State and beyond. It aims to help to equip students with the necessary skills in agriculture and entrepreneurship
fostering the spirit of self-reliance and resilience among our young population. The agricultural sector holds immense potentials for job creation and food security.
The proposed university is envisioned to cultivate a new generation of job creators rather than job seekers in the agriculture sector. And now moving to reports from the Green Chamber, House of Representatives has resolved to investigate allegations of misconduct against Honorable Alexander Mascot Ikweche following growing concerns over the integrity of the legislative body. The member representing Aba North, Aba South Federal Constituency under the platform of ABGA was seen in a viral video assaulting a he-hailing driver. This followed a motion raised by the House Leader, Professor Julius Ihombere, during Tuesday's plenary, urging members to uphold the House's image and reputation.
Mr. Speaker, am I protected, Mr. Speaker?
Go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, this experience has been especially disheartening as it stands in contrast to the positive strides that we have made in my constituency of Aba North and Aba South, particularly in the areas of health, education, and empowerment. Nevertheless, it serves as a teachable moment, Mr. Speaker, for all of us in public office that is held in high standards. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I just want to state once again that I am human. Even though things were said, and those things I regret. I apologize to all Nigerians. Regardless of the provocation, there should be no reason why I should react in that form. So I want to use this opportunity to appeal to all Nigerians. Let us let what has happened remain in the past, and let us forge forward.
It is not good for us to judge, ahead of time and take rash decision. Therefore, in line with the prayers of the leader of the House, that this matter be referred to the Committee on Ethics and Privilege for him to be heard. His appeal was very emotional, very touching, shows remorse. I was touched hearing it from here. But that is not enough. I know you were touched as well. I know Nigerians watching him have seen a man that is remorseful. But our rules must be complied with.
Now, still from the Green Chambers, House of Representatives has called on the federal government to initiate a thorough investigation into the killings of innocent Nigerians from Plateau State by cultists in Anambra State. The lawmakers urged immediate action to prevent such senseless violence and to safeguard the lives and properties of all citizens. This request followed a motion of urgent public importance raised by Honorable Yusuf Adamu Gaggi, who reported that 7 of his constituents engaged in legitimate business in Anambra were brutally murdered. The House also urged the Inspector General of Police and the Director General of Department of State Services to take swift and decisive measures to address the situation and ensure that those responsible are held accountable.
Worried, Mr. Speaker, that the victims were neither terrorists, bandits, nor criminals, but peace-loving citizens of Nigeria who were free to reside and do business in any part of the country. The victims are Joseph Ishaku, 31 years old, Jamilu Haruna, 20 years old, Abdul Wahab Aliyu, 28 years old, Abdul Razak Mohammed, 18 years old, Nuruddin Yusuf, 23 years old, and Awal. They were all shot to death while Others sustained severe degree of injuries. So the victims were from Gomlar and Gumshar villages of Kanam local government area in Plateau State. Also worried, Mr. Speaker, that this barbaric act in the southeastern part of the country is threatening our existence and free movement and right to live and liberty to live anywhere in the part of Nigeria as guaranteed by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This act is condemnable and unacceptable. Concerned, Mr. Speaker, that if prompt security measures is not put in place to safeguard the lives of Nigerians living in other regions or any other part of the country, this may lead to reprisal attack and it will not be good for the nation. Mr. Speaker, I urge the House to, 1, observe a minute silence in honor of the departed citizens of my local government, condemn the killing of innocent Nigerians, not only in this part of the country, but in the entire Nigeria.
And now to reports from the Federal Capital Territory. The Minister, Barrister Nyesom Wike, has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to enhancing rural communities within the FCT. Barrister Wike reiterated this pledge during the flag-off ceremony of construction of the Pai-Gumani Road in Kwali Area Council. Eniola Ogundano, our correspondent, has details.
FCT Minister Barrister Nyesom Wike highlighted rural development as a key priority to curb migration to the city center. He also underscored the importance of accessible roads for boosting agricultural productivity and enhancing food security.
If you can even try to do less than 12 months, your money is available. Because look at why should Nigeria complain about food? Look at land. Why should we import food? But why would we not have problem of food when there's no road? Even if our farmers have access, assuming they go to track road to the farm and they produce food, how would they bring it to the city without road? Now that they have road, won't they bring their food out?
In his remarks, Kwali Area Council Chairman Honorable Danladi Chiya noted that the new road offers farmers a viable path to turn their agricultural outputs into thriving businesses, thanks to an improved road network.
Connected to Mr. Wike because he is not holding any of our allocation. So we must be doing something in our various area councils. And that will give us age to invite him to come and inspect what we are doing in our localities.
The minister assured residents that his administration will continue to address challenges impacting their quality of life one step at a time. From the nation's capital, Ogundano Eniola, ADBN News.
You're watching ADBN News at 7. Now stay with us for more stories after the break.
Welcome to the Niger Delta, a region of incredible beauty and stark contrast. From its breathtaking landscapes to its rich cultural heritage, this is a place where history and modernity collide. But beneath this serene surface lies a story of struggle and resilience. The Niger Delta is the lifeblood of Nigeria's economy, home to vast oil reserves that fuel the nation, yet it is a land where the people fight for their share of the wealth. Join us on the program Niger Delta Today as we explore the heart of the Niger Delta, discover the vibrant cultures, the struggles for environmental justice, and the stories of the people who call this place home. This is the Niger Delta, a land of contrast, a story of resilience, a journey of hope. Don't miss our exclusive series, Niger Delta Today, every day at 12 noon, only on ADBN TV. Witness the untold stories, experience the journey, be part of the change.
No matter wetin I see, enough fit make mouth heavy to talk am. That's now why people dey talk.
You know wetin dey worry you, but you no go fit take help yourself.
In this kind of situation now, what if they really no talk to una? Wetin be the way forward?
They go bury our chairman on Thursday. We go remain here.
Make we talk good where we dey see good, and where we know say we no dey see good, make we also dey talk am.
No woman, no mother deserve to know the grave of his child.
The bank manager and the bank executive, they are the one the government should first praise.
People They Talk, the show on Monday to Friday by 5 p.m. on top ADBN TV.
You're welcome back. And it's straight to Sokoto State, where the Commissioner of Women and Children Affairs, Hajia Adiza Hamad Shagari, has highlighted gender-based violence as a critical issue that requires urgent action. She made the statement during a one-day orientation and inauguration of GBV prevention and response clubs in female schools throughout Sokoto State. ADBN Northwest correspondent Lawal Aliyu was there and now reports.
The commissioner, represented by the Director of Administration of the Ministry, Murtala Yunusa, emphasized the government's willingness to collaborate with organizations working to address gender-based violence.
Gender-based violence is a critical issue globally. When we say globally, in all aspects of life, all aspects of humanities, there is gender-based violence. This including our household, our school, our market, and any aspect of life. Therefore, this very sensitive issue.
Grand Patron of the Community Development Committee, Serkinyak Ngagi, Alhaji Sani Umar Jabi, revealed that 1 out of 5 girls faces gender-based violence, highlighting the need for collective action.
Last 6 months back, with the support from the Global Right, we are able to put a lot of resources and effort to establish structures from schools, children reading, but with the support from career guardian and counselors and our own principals. So a lot has been happening in schools. We want to break the idea of silence. We have different structures in Sokoto. We have the state structure named after state responsive. We have surveillance group at local government, but in our schools we are silent. So today we think we have to put a lot of effort to ensure we establish structure that will break the idea of silence. We need to know our children, we need to know how are they surviving in schools. If there's anything wrong, we see something, we say something.
Program Manager, Global Right, Edosa Avui, stressed that promoting female education is crucial in combating gender-based violence.
I would like to stress the fact that promoting female education in Northwest Nigeria in particular is crucial for empowering women and combating gender-based violence. Educating women literally provides them with knowledge and self-confidence, and of course the tool to better pursue economic freedoms and opportunities to enhance both their personal welfare and of course the welfare of their families.
The event, supported by Global Right, Kuka Center, UKAID, and the Foreign Commonwealth Development Office, was aimed at tackling gender-based violence through education and community engagement. From Sokoto, Lawal Aliyu, ADBN News.
And moving on to the Niger Delta, the Development Commission has disclosed that 10,000 selected beneficiaries of its youth internship scheme will begin receiving a monthly stipend of 50,000 naira starting in December 2024. Managing Director, NDDC, Dr. Samuel Obuku, made this disclosure while being honored as Ambassador Extraordinaire by University of Ibadan. He urged the university to enhance its research activities, stating that the Commission is ready to support universities in conducting research to address various societal challenges.
I am not here to tell you all about our programs. We have the Youth Internship Scheme, of which the Youth Internship, we have already committed to ensure that by December, all our Youth Internship beneficiaries will be published and they are going to be paid from December. The 1 year Youth Internship Scheme. Right now, we are doing the sorting out and selection of names for the successful beneficiaries. Then Project Hope, which is also our flagship project for youth. We are also going to ensure that by this December it kicks off because we've already launched the second phase. So all what we have put in place, everything is going to start immediately. Then for our corporate governance structure, which we engaged KPMG earlier last year to put in place our corporate governance structure and SOPs, we are also willing to ensure that that is also concluded before the end of the year, so that the end of this year can be internally regulated and also externally regulated for probity and accountability. So we are trying to strengthen the foundations of this institution, and it is based on that foundation that we are strengthening that we believe, because I've seen the difference in what we are doing here, for you to also deem us worthy enough to be ambassador of UI.
Expressing his gratitude, Dr. Ogbuku stated that the honor from the university signifies that achievements of the NDDC are gaining recognition among Nigerians. He mentioned that the Commission will begin inaugurating more completed projects in the first week of December.
The present management of the NDDC is a management that is committed to ensuring that staff welfare is very, very paramount to our activities here. The present management is a management that is committed to ensure that we also deliver development to the people of the Niger Delta. So I can assure you that in a couple of weeks, we will also see some of the things we have achieved within this period. By first week in December, the NDDC will commence commissioning of projects to close the year. We are not just going to close the year to tell people Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. We are going to tell people Merry Christmas by also commissioning projects that will be embarking on within a short period to commemorate the 1 year anniversary of this present board and management. Because this November, this present board and management will be 1 year old. So in the first week of December, we want to tell Nigerians what we're able to achieve in 1 year. Then thereafter, by first quarter of next year, we still have more projects to commission for those that we cannot finish within this December.
Vice-Chancellor of the University of Ibadan, Kayode Adebowale, lauded Dr. Ogbuku for the transformative projects and programs initiated by the NDDC under his leadership.
I am happy to inform you that Dr. Samuel Ogbuku has been found worthy to be decorated as UI The vision of the University of Ibadan is to be a world-class institution for academic excellence that is geared towards meeting societal needs. And it is our belief that the values and passion of Dr. Ogbuku clearly aligns with the vision of the university.
Additionally, the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Professor Peter Olakbegba, described NDDC Managing Director as a social scientist who has made significant contributions to re-engineering society.
Countries are catchment. Then we need to bring collaboration. We need to leverage individuals, leverage alumni, leverage friends of the university, leverage corporate organization for us to reposition the University of Ibadan for future engagement. So we went about designating people and carry investiture to celebrate people. May I say that of all the people we have decorated, this is the most elaborate of the decorations.
This development marks an important step towards empowering Niger Delta youth and promoting sustainable development in the region. And moving on, Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment, Senator John Owan Ena, has pledged his commitment to providing strategic leadership and policy direction to foster industrial growth in Nigeria. The assurance was made during his formal welcome ceremony at the ministry's office in Abuja. Senator Owan Ena, formerly the Minister of Sports Development, expressed his gratitude for the warm reception from the ministry staff and management as he emphasized critical role of industry and industrialization in national development. He highlighted President Bola Tinubu's vision and leadership in reassigning him to this crucial role, underscoring the importance of industry in driving economic development. In his welcome address, Permanent Secretary Ambassador Nura Abba Rimi lauded the President's strategic choice to appoint Senator Owan Ena to lead the industry sector. He acknowledged the challenges confronting the ministry and expressed confidence in the new minister's capability to drive industrial revitalization. He also urged the ministry's management and staff to collaborate and leverage their expertise to ensure efficient and effective service delivery. Meanwhile, the ministry's directors, special assistants to the Honorable Minister, union leaders, and other staff members attended this ceremony. We now move to Enugu, where the state governor, Peter Mba, has officially launched construction of 44.8-kilometer Ameke Ogi Iwolo Olo Umulokpa Road, which will traverse the Udi, Eziagu, and Uzowani local government areas and include a spur from Akama Oge and Agubowa. During the groundbreaking ceremony held at Eke in Udi local government area, Governor Mba highlighted the broader significance of the initiative, emphasizing that it represents not just improved transportation, but also economic growth and poverty eradication. It envisions a $30 billion economy stemming from such infrastructure improvements, allowing for seamless travel and stimulating various economic activities across the state. The governor assured public of timely project completion, stating that the road would be ready for commissioning within 3 months. He also stressed the importance of adhering to project timelines and called for public support for both his administration and the contractors involved. You're watching ADBN News at 7. Now stay with us for more stories on the foreign scene after this break.
Welcome to the world where innovation meets opportunity, where ideas become empires. This is Market TV.
I am Idorian Flannan, and every week I'll be taking you inside the dynamic world of marketing and commercial business.
From groundbreaking startups to big businesses, Market TV brings you the best pricing and latest goods on display.
It's all about understanding your audience and staying ahead of the trends.
Witness the creative processes that drive the various brands.
Join us as we dive deep into the strategies that shape the commercial landscape. From streets to traditional advertising and social media, we cover it all.
Whether you're a seasoned professional or an aspiring entrepreneur, Market TV provides the insights you need to thrive.
This show gave us the tool to turn our vision into reality.
So, if you're ready to master the market, tune into Market TV every Saturday at 6 p.m.
In a world of overwhelming voices where everyone has different opinion on different issues, it is important that we bring the core issue to the fore. Join me, Nancy Bonigo, on Softline as we lend our voices to inform and influence your thoughts and actions. This is not just mere talk, it is an invocative program that touches the core of our existence.
Step into the heartbeat of the world where news meets real talk. From breakthroughs in diplomacy to humanitarian challenges and scientific milestones, Global Digest takes you beyond the headlines and straight to the heart of the matter. I am Amma Marcus. Be a part of the world unfolding stories at 3 p.m. on ADBN, channel 258 on DSTV, and Star Times, channel 140. Global Digest, your window to the world's current affairs, only on Advocate Broadcasting Network.
You're welcome back. Iran's government has proposed to triple its military budget amid escalating tensions with arch-rival Israel following recent missile exchanges. At a news conference in Tehran, a government spokesperson, Fatemeh Mohajerani, announced that the proposal will result in a significant increase of over 200% in the military budget. While no specific figures were provided, the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute estimates Iran's military spending for 2023 as approximately $10.3 billion. The proposed budget will undergo debate, with lawmakers expected to finalize it in March. Meanwhile, Iran and Israel has accused each other of jeopardizing peace in the Middle East during a heated exchange at a UN meeting. This exchange followed Israeli airstrikes on Iran in retaliation for a missile barrage launched by Iran against Israel on 1st October, which reportedly resulted in deaths of 4 Iranian soldiers and damage to radar system. The 1st October strike, involving 200 missiles, was in response to attacks that killed leaders of Iranian-backed groups Hamas and Hezbollah, as well as one of Iran's own commanders. Mohajerani stated that all efforts are being made to meet the country's defense needs, emphasizing the importance of the issue. Let's also let you know that Lebanon's Hezbollah movement has announced that it has appointed Deputy Head Naim Qasim to succeed Hassan Nasrallah as leader following Nasrallah's death in an Israeli strike on South Beirut last month. Qasim was elected by the 5-member Shura Council, the group's primary decision-making body, just 2 days before the announcement. Qasim has long operated in Nasrallah's shadow, a prominent and influential figure in the Middle East. Initially head of Hezbollah's executive council, Hashim Safieddin was expected to take over, but he was also killed in an Israeli strike shortly after Nasrallah's assassination. Hezbollah Palestinian ally Hamas, which launched an attack on Israel on 7th October 2023, triggered the Gaza war and welcomed Qasim's election. At 71, Qasim was a founding member of Hezbollah in 1982 and has served as the party's Deputy Secretary General since 1991, the year before Nasrallah assumed leadership. Qasim has assured that Hezbollah's military capabilities remain intact and expressed support for Parliamentary Speaker Nabe Berry's effort to broker a ceasefire. Still on the foreign scene, a global police operation has successfully shut down the servers of one of the world's largest malware platforms, which targeted millions of victims. A statement from the EU's judicial arm, Eurojust, reported that the info stealers involved affected millions of users globally, making it one of the largest malware operations. The agency noted from its headquarters in The Hague that authorities discovered over 1,200 servers across multiple countries running this malware. Dubbed Operation Magnus, the investigation led by the led to the shutdown of 3 servers in the Netherlands, the seizure of 2 domains, the unsealing of charges in the United States, and the arrest of 2 individuals in Belgium. Eurojust explained that the criminals who purchased the stolen data used it to commit fraud, steal money, and conduct further hacking activities. The agency and Dutch police clarified that the name Meta, associated with the malware platform, is not connected to Meta Platforms, the California-based company that owns Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. Ongoing investigations have prompted Eurojust to announce that a private security firm has created an online tool for potential victims to check if their data has been compromised. We now move to sports, where the Nigerian Premier Football League has fined Enyimba of Aba 1 million naira for misconduct that could bring the game into disrepute. The club was charged with violating the NPFL framework and rules during their match day 9 fixture against Ikorodu City at the Enyimba Stadium on Sunday. Enyimba was also reprimanded for publishing disparaging comments about match officials on their X handle. The league has warned the club to refrain from similar actions in the future and to use appropriate channels for lodging complaints, noting that further violations could result in more severe penalties. Sporting Lisbon manager Ruben Amorim stated he has not yet made a decision regarding his future after Manchester United expressed interest in appointing him as the new manager. Earlier on Tuesday, Sporting confirmed that United had made an official approach and is willing to pay Amorim's release clause of €10 million following his team's 3-1 victory over Nacional in the Portuguese League Cup quarterfinals. Amorim addressed the media, saying nothing is decided yet, and added he is uncertain if the match was his farewell game. He acknowledged the interest from Manchester United and the contract's release clause, stating he would inform everyone about his decision when there is something more concrete. And that's it on ADBN News. Remember to watch us live on DSTV channel 258, on StarTimes channel 140, Avo TV app, Limix World TV app, and Niger TV app. For more stories, visit our website on www.adbntv.com. You can also watch us live from every part of the world by logging on to www.adbntv.com/live. I am Peace Ogenegbawe. Good morning, and it's back to Beta Brian for the continuation of Morning Express.
Well, thanks for staying with us through our first major news bulletin this morning. It's about time for us to get our conversation started as we give you an overview of the front pages and what the headlines have as major stories in Nigeria this morning. Well, do remember that you're invited to join the conversation as you can share your thoughts, comments, and opinions on our online stream on our YouTube channel at ADBN TV and on our webpage. This conversation will take us up until 9 a.m. when we'll now discuss our main topic of the day in line with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's tax reform policies and some of the strong opposition voices by northern governors and leaders who feel that this would not benefit their region the most. Well, this will span up until 10 a.m. when we'd have our Abuja sports editor Samuel Adeleke tell us more in a build-up to the replacement for Eric Ten Hag and with some rounds of Carabao League Cup matches in action later today. It does promise to be an exciting show. We invite you to stay glued to your TV screens as your viewing pleasure is guaranteed. We'll take a short break, and when we return, the newspaper review segment is up next.
Welcome to the Niger Delta, a region of incredible beauty and stark contrast. From its breathtaking landscapes to its rich cultural heritage, this is a place where history and modernity collide. But beneath this serene surface lies a story of struggle and resilience. The Niger Delta is the lifeblood of Nigeria's economy, home to vast oil reserves that fuel the nation, yet it is a land where the people fight for their share of the wealth. Join us on the program Niger Delta Today as we explore the heart of the Niger Delta, discover the vibrant cultures, the struggles for environmental justice, and the stories of the people who call this place home. This is the Niger Delta, a land of contrast, a story of resilience, a journey of hope. Don't miss our exclusive series, Niger Delta Today, every day at 12 noon, only on ADBN TV. Witness the untold stories, experience the journey, be part of the change.
Welcome to the world where innovation meets opportunity, where ideas become empires. This is Market TV.
I am Idorian Flannan, and every week I'll be taking you inside the dynamic world of marketing and commercial business.
From groundbreaking startups to big businesses, Market TV brings you the best pricing and latest goods on display.
It's all about understanding your audience and staying ahead of the trends.
Witness the creative processes that drive the various brands.
Join us as we dive deep into the strategies that shape the commercial landscape. From streets to traditional advertising and social media, we cover it all.
Whether you're a seasoned professional or an aspiring entrepreneur, Market TV provides the insights you need to thrive.
This show gave us the tool to turn our vision into reality.
So, if you're ready to master the market, tune into Market TV every Saturday at 6 p.m.
No matter wetin I see, enough fit make mouth heavy to talk am. That's now why people dey talk.
You know wetin dey worry you, but you no go fit take help yourself.
In this kind of situation now, what if they really no talk to una? Wetin be the way forward?
They go bury our chairman on Thursday. We go remain here.
Make we talk good where we dey see good, and where we know say we no dey see good, make we also dey talk am.
No woman, no mother deserve to know the grave of his child.
The bank manager, the bank executive, they are the one the government should first pay.
People They Talk, the show on Monday to Friday by 5 p.m. on top ADBN TV.
In a world of overwhelming voices where everyone has different opinion on different issues, it is important that we bring the core issue to the fore. Join me, Nancy Bonigo, on Softline as we lend our voices to inform and influence your thoughts and actions. This is not just mere talk, it is an educative program that touches the core of our existence.
Step into the heartbeat of the world where news meets real talk. From breakthroughs in diplomacy to humanitarian challenges and scientific milestones, Global Digest takes you beyond the headlines and straight to the heart of the matter. I am Amma Marcus. Be a part of the world unfolding stories at 3 p.m. on ADBN, channel 258 on DSTV, and Star Times, channel 140. Global Digest, your window to the world's current affairs, only on Advocate Broadcasting Network.
Well, thanks for staying with us on our Morning Express program. It's another day to discuss some of the pertinent issues as it affects our beloved country, Nigeria. Well, quite surprisingly, in a 60-day period, again, the sole importer of petrol into the country, the NNPCL, has decided to adjust the price template, hiking it even further. Now, this is one of those controversial stories that are making the round this morning And our first two newspapers lead with that in their editorial guidelines. Before we look at the headlines together, let me just remind you that the headlines are read strictly as published according to the editorial guidelines of the various dailies and are not in any way a position of ADBN Television as regards these issues in the news. So whilst you're looking to respond, do well to get your facts right. Now, to begin with, let's pick up our first newspaper this morning, the Punch newspaper, that has a headline in that regard. On the Punch newspaper this morning, you'd find the headline story beneath the masthead. Again, NNPCL hikes petrol price, fixes 1,060 naira per litre. Refinery faults import as Tinubu summons Edun, Dangote Kyari. Now, above that headline story, you'd find more in that regard. Stop ad hoc dollar auction. World Bank tells CBN 17 northern states black out to end November 12th, says the federal government. 32 states got 55% of revenue from FARC, according to reports. 2025 budget, Tinubu submits MTEF to National Assembly next week. Lagos Calabar Highway, Lagos community homeowners fault route diversion. Anti-party, Aregbesola camp mum as APC suspends ex-governor. Now, the picture of prominence in view right here is following the meeting between President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Dangote, the Minister of Finance, and Abubakar Kyari as well, as you'd find the president in a handshake with Aliko Dangote. Now, much like the Punch newspaper, in crossing over to our next newspaper, the Vanguard, you'd find a similarity in the headline as well. On the Vanguard this morning, it says, petrol price up third time in 60 days as crude price drops. Sells in Lagos for 1,025 naira per litre, 1,060 naira in Abuja. Experts react. Revolt against petrol price increase. CSOs urge Nigerians. Tinubu Dangote asks stakeholders in oil industry to stop reliance on imports. Now, much like this, you'd find other stories greeting the front page. NPA halts container release at Apapa Port due to severe congestion. FG yet to reach out to us, says strike university unions. As Unilorin, UNN, others join strike. Governments, media must unite to move Nigeria forward, says VP Shetima. Bandits take over military camp in Niger. Biden supports Nigeria's quest for UN Security Council seat. Thanks Tinubu for freeing Binance executive. Reps probe Ikweche over assault on Bolt driver. Now, these are the many stories greeting the front page of the Vanguard. Now, away from this, it is still more on the debates as to what is causing the disruption in supply chains as regards the petroleum downstream sector. Now, off the back of the meeting between President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Edun, and Abubakar Kyari, Aliko Dangote, in speaking to the press, fingered petrol marketers, blaming them for disruptions in the fuel supply chain and the long queues we find at filling stations. Now, this story is in fact captured on 4 newspapers this morning, and I'll take you each one of them. Now, we'll start with the Leadership newspaper, where you'd find the headline story capturing comments from Alhaji Aliko Dangote with the catchphrase, fuel crisis. Hold marketers responsible for long queues, says Dangote. Hold marketers responsible for long queues, says refinery ready for 30 million litres daily supply. Again, NNPC raises pump price. Adjustments due to market dynamics, says marketers. Ghana eyes fuel imports from Dangote refinery. Now, above that story, you'd find more interesting features on the Leadership, the first of which reads, why Nigeria deserves UN Security Council seats, says President Joe Biden. Scores killed in Edo cult war. Sonala writes US election for leadership. Reps probes member over assault on Bolt driver. Nigerian Observer honors Iridia, Momo, or Bagbena, others. Only Lagos, Rivers can sustain IGR, according to a report from Budget. Kanu approves 71,000 minimum wage. We will restore power to North in 5 days, says the transmission company of Nigeria. Away from the leadership newspaper, still with focus on the headlines, let's also cross over to the Nigerian Tribune and look at the headline feature. The editorial headline on the Nigerian Tribune reads, Dangote blames petrol queues on marketers. Queues will disappear if marketers lift our products, he says. Our refinery holds 500 million litres, which can sustain the country for over 12 days, he adds. NNPCL sells petrol at 1,025 naira per litre to Lagos. Other feature stories, Sanwo-Olu denies suing EFCC. Why I can't transfer Rivers case from Abuja to Port Harcourt, says a Federal High Court CJ. APC suspends Aregbesola. State of States. How Naira devaluation exposed many states to greater financial risk. Network disruptions. SECPC warns banks, wants swift service restoration. Timothy Adegoke. Appeal court reserves judgment in AOU students killing. Terrorists preventing electricity restoration in the north. Deputy Senate President says. Tinubu, NSA, others working to end darkness. Away from the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, let's look at the front page of the Nigerian News Direct. On the News Direct as well, you'd find this morning, do not blame me for field queues. A comment coming from Alhaji Aliko Dangote. Beneath which you'd find a picture of prominence following the meeting of Aliko Dangote, Mr. President and others. As the writer story has, NNPC Limited targets 3,000 Nigerians in free cancer screening campaign. Above the masthead, agri-tech startups win venture building sport in FCMB Hackathon. Osun APC suspends Aregbesola over alleged anti-party activities. Naseni unveils made in Nigeria laptops, tablets. Ekiti governor presents 375 billion naira budget estimate to State Assembly. Vice President Shatima preaches unity with media for nation building as editors pay VP visit. Now, away from the Nigerian News Direct, another paper with much focus on the comments coming in from Aliko Dangote this morning, blaming petrol marketers for the lingering queues across major filling stations, is the First News newspaper. On the First News this morning, you'd find beneath the masthead, fuel scarcity unnecessary. We have 500 million litres in reserve, Dangote tells NNPC. The rider stories, FG hikes petrol price despite crude drop. Insecurity. Over 20 schools, 23 markets closed in Benue local government, according to a chairman. Lagos Task Force declares blocking roads for events illegal. And lastly, just besides the masthead, if you remove Fubara, something will happen. Asari Dokubo warns the FCT minister Wike. Now, in keeping with more reports as we see headlined on other stories, the meeting between Mr. President and Dangote Refinery, which we're told this morning, is strategically placed to assess the level of compliance with the Naira for crude deal. Now, this story is largely reported by three papers which we're looking at next. You'd find the Daily Independent, the Matrix, and This Day all reporting this story in that regard. Let's begin with the Daily Independent. On the Daily Independent this Wednesday morning, beneath the masthead, Tinubu meets Dangote, others assesses Naira-based crude oil sales. Policy has set Nigeria's economy on path of industrialization, says Edu. Dangote says retailers ignoring 500 million litres of fuel in his tank farm. Alleges marketers others' preference for imported petroleum products. A picture depicting the meeting accompanies the headline. Whilst beneath that you find on the rider, NNPC increases petrol price to 1,050 naira in Abuja, 1,025 naira in Lagos. Service disruptions, FCCPC warns banks against violating customers' rights. Binance executive, UN Security Council permanent seats. Top Tinubu, Biden's phone discussion. FG doles out 500 million naira to Nigerian Legion as Tinubu loads armed forces. Over 3.6 million Nigerians diabetic, 53% undiagnosed. Government, media must unite to move Nigeria forward. Shetima tasks editors. Vandalism, insecurity reason blackout persists in northern states, says the federal government. Assures electricity expected before weekend. Senate passes bill to enhance NDIC capacity to safeguard banks' depositors. Now, away from the Daily Independent, let's look at the Matrix newspaper with more headline features on Mr. President and his Naira for crude sales deal. Now, the Matrix thus reported in the headline that reads, Tinubu opens up on Naira for crude transaction policy. Says it will ensure oil sector stability, remove exchange rate hurdles, advises use of Afrexim Bank as settlement bank to resolve Naira pricing issues. NNPC Limited marketers should stop petrol importation. We have enough, says Dangote. Abia lawmaker issues apology following assault on Bolt driver. Sanwo-Olu sues EFCC over alleged plans to arrest him after tenure. APC suspends Aregbesola over alleged anti-party activities. An entertainment focus on the Matrix this morning. Tiwa Savage says she is more talented than Wizkid, Davido, Burna Boy. A sports feature above the masthead. 2025 AFCON qualifiers. CAF announces date for Super Eagles final match. 2024 Seplat Energy grows revenue to 1.071 trillion naira in 9 months. Operating profit rises to 411.3 billion naira. Declare US 9.6 cents total dividends per share. Well, quite the huge earnings for Seplat Energy with a very robust 2024 economic outlook. Now let's move on to This Day newspaper. And on This Day newspaper this morning, more focus and comments as it regards the Naira for crude oil deal. And you'd find the headline beneath the masthead. With Naira for crude, Tinubu promises more stability. Dangote, our refinery, has over 500 million liters of fuel in reserve. Again, National Oil Company raises pump price of petrol. Now, above that headline feature, you'd find inserted a feature story. On Ayinka to fix Nigeria's challenges, northern elites must fix region's promises. Rebrand Observer newspaper, we are building on achievements of founding fathers, says Obaseke. TCN targets Sunday to restore power to North, says insecurity hindering efforts. And on the header, in 30-minute phone call, Tinubu, Biden seek to deepen partnership in U.S.-Nigeria relations. U.S. President backs Nigeria's quest for UN Security Council seat. Thanks Tinubu for releasing Binance CEO. Now, away from this pertinent issues affecting the state of the nation as it concerns the price of petrol and interventions by the government of the day in a Naira for crude oil deal, another major challenge affecting many Nigerians, it will be presumed, over the last few weeks, has been the difficulty in accessing online banking systems. Now, there have been failed online transactions, downtime even for mobile banking using USSD. Particular bank networks have been unreachable. Now, despite the FCCPC issuing a circular urging these banks to restore power or services as promptly as possible, the Daily Trust has an editorial headline capturing the frustration of bank customers who are bemoaning these IT collapses in the banking industry. Now, let's pick up the Daily Trust newspaper where you'd find that headline story as well. On the Daily Trust, the headline reads, customers express frustration as banks' IT glitches linger. Development widening trust deficits. Upgrades have messed up small businesses, says NASME. Now, beneath that, the prominent picture shows a boat which has been loaded beyond its carrying capacity. The residents are also seen not wearing a life jacket despite reports of several boat accidents this year and the need for, intensified regulations on our inland waterways. Now, the rider, however, has all the feature stories Ogun short schools, suspends principal over students' debts. Again, petrol prices rises. 750 million raised as Tinubu unveils Armed Forces Remembers Emland. Power outage, bandits target Shiroro, 330 kV lines for long locals. Now, Oshun APC suspends Aregbesola over anti-party activities. Sultan is alive. Sultanate Council says gunmen sack 23 communities in Niger. Now, let's also look at the developments as captured on the Daily Times. On the Daily Times, the headline is as it concerns the Shipper Council of Nigeria, which is lamenting huge losses in 5 years over a lack of tracking on our waterways as well. Now, let's look at the headline feature on the Daily Times this morning as it reads, Nigeria loses $2.5 billion in 5 years over non-implementation of tracking notes, says the Shippers Council of Nigeria. Sanwo-Olu sues EFCC, alleging plans to arrest, prosecute him in 2027. Senate amends NDIC Act to safeguard bank depositors' funds. Nigeria's energy transition attracts $500 million in 10 months. And those are the feature stories on the Daily Times. Now, and in crossing over, let's also pick up the front page on the Blueprint this morning as we look at the headline feature together. On the Blueprint this morning, you'd find the headline story, Blackouts. Expect temporary relief in 72 hours, permanent solution in 14 days, says the federal government. As the Prime Minister Adebayo Adelabu seeks capital punishment for vandals. Niger Assembly raises the alarm over 8 bandits camps in Kontongora. Nigeria 6 regional front against illicit arms, IED threats. Those are the feature stories quite visibly captured on the Blueprint. Now, away from the Blueprint, let's look at the economic outlook of states this morning as reported by 2 different newspapers. We'll start with the Business Day. And on the Business Day, it has singled out some raise in internally generated revenue in states like Lagos, the FCT, and Rivers. And this is applauded to income taxes. Now, whilst The Guardian looks at some of the poor fiscal responsibility on the parts of states in light of a declining IGR. Now, most states, were also told by the finance minister, are largely dependent on federal allocations. These are some of the last 2 publications we'll be looking at before we get into conversations. Let's begin with the Business Day. On the Business Day this Wednesday, you'd find the headline story, States IGR hits 5-year high on income tax. States IGR hits 5-year high on income tax. Lagos, FCT, Rivers account for 50%. States grow debt by 38.1% in 1 year. Now, the pay-as-you-earn pushed the internally generated revenue of 36 states to include the Federal Capital Territory to a 5-year high in 2023. And this is demonstrating that the subnational governments can boost economic activities in their domains to earn more income. Well, in the course of our analysis this morning, we would have an economic expert also tell us how this changes and balances the dynamics in terms of internally generated revenue, IGR, within states. But before we do that, let's speak the Guardian rather. On the Guardian this morning, you'd find the headline, States poor IGR raises fiscal sustainability concerns. You'd find the infographics accompanying that, the map of Nigeria with the caption, States IGR hits 2.43 trillion naira, citizens grapple with uncertainties. Internally generated revenue by zones in 2023. The Northwest accounts for 206.22 billion naira. The Northeast, 104.35 billion naira. The North Central, 387.65 billion naira. The Southeast, 142.95 billion naira. South, the second visibly highest IGR, 468.74 billion naira, whilst the Southwest with the highest, 1.12 trillion naira in the Southwest. Now, the data is sourced from the NBS and budget. Now, they also have accompanied that to the right, the 32 states depending on the fact for 55% revenue, while 14 others at 70%. Now, you'd find all the rider stories. Petrol consumption hovers at 50 million liters per day amid deregulation, smuggling. Telcos losing billions of naira to vandalism as NCC audits show subscription shortfall. Stakeholders urge caution, review of tax bill for consensus. FG6 regional cooperation against small arm IED threats. Well, this is the overview of our headline stories. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll be joined by Dr. Aliyu Ilyas, an economic analyst and a public affairs commentator as well, to dissect these stories as we critically analyze them. Be reminded that you too can share your opinion and thoughts on this. Follow us on our social media handles across channels at ADBN_TV. You can also watch the live feed on our YouTube channel at ADBN TV and on our webpage at www.adbntv.com/live. However, remember, when you make a comment, it's about nation building in the interest of our beloved nation, Nigeria. Kindly refrain from using inflammatory or inciting comments when you do so. We'll be right back to dig into the conversation. Stay with us.
Welcome to the Niger Delta, a region of incredible beauty and stark contrast. From its breathtaking landscapes to its rich cultural heritage, this is a place where history and modernity collide. But beneath this serene surface lies a story of struggle and resilience. The Niger Delta is the lifeblood of Nigeria's economy, home to vast oil reserves that fuel the nation, yet it is a land where the people fight for their share of the wealth. Join us on the program Niger Delta Today as we explore the heart of the Niger Delta, discover the vibrant cultures, the struggles for environmental justice, and the stories of the people who call this place home. This is the Niger Delta, a land of contrast, a story of resilience, a journey of hope. Don't miss our exclusive series, Niger Delta Today, every day at 12 noon, only on ADBN TV. Witness the untold stories, experience the journey, be part of the change.
No matter wetin I see, enough fit make mouth heavy to talk am. That's now why people dey talk.
You know wetin dey worry you, but you no go fit take help yourself.
In this kind of situation now, what if they really no talk to una? Wetin be the way forward?
They go bury our chairman on Thursday. We go remain here.
Make we talk good where we dey see good, and where we know say we no dey see good, make we also dey talk am.
No woman, no mother deserve to know the grave of his child.
The bank manager, the bank executive, they are the one the government should first face.
People They Talk, the show on Monday to Friday by 5 p.m. on top ADBN TV.
All right, very well then, let's get straight into our conversation starters this morning as we take our conversation around the earlier reviewed headlines on the newspapers. We're joined virtually from the nation's capital by Dr. Aliyu Ilyas, a public affairs commentator and an economist. Hello, Doctor. Good morning. Can you hear me? Well, whilst I can see you, I'm hoping that the audio gets better. I'm happy that we have good visual connections this morning. We had earlier looked at more than a dozen newspapers, and predominantly in the news is a shocker that for the third time in 60 days, the NNPCL has decided to jack up the price of premium motor spirits, otherwise known as petrol. And many continue to ask, should the NNPC be a regulator or a player in the industry? What is the reason why we can't have fuel at affordable prices despite the coming on board of Dangote Refinery? Let's get your thoughts on this developing issue.
Right. It is quite expected that there will be a definitely continuous increase in the price of fuel. And what is the reason behind it is that two things are the factor. The number one factor is the challenge of forex. In as much as our forex continue to increase, we will continue to have a surge in the price of petroleum products. And the second one is the global price of oil. You know, if the global price fluctuates, it will definitely affect us. So the challenge now is that how do we manage it better? You know, you could see the argument of Dangote at the State House yesterday with the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, where he said he has about 500 million liters of fuel in his tank, and there's no one to actually purchase it. That shows a sign that there's a gap and something's actually wrong in that sector. So I think NNPC should learn how to manage this so that it will not affect, because if we have had this increment within a short period of time, and there's no way we will not continue on except they find a way of managing it very, very well. And you know, the alternative is not also coming easy, which is the CNG. So it's a serious challenge for Nigeria. I think NNPC must take charge. Now that the president, the Dangote has got to see the Mr. President, I don't know how they are going to manage that middle, because for marketers to decide not to buy from Dangote, there's something wrong. It's either the product is having issue, or the price Dangote is giving out the product is also having is not a good price.
Now, Doctor, I also saw an issue of this pricing you're speaking about, especially with the first batch of refined products that were lifted by the NNPCL. Both Dangote and the NNPCL had a conflict on what the selling price was. And from our understanding, NNPCL is supposed to be the mediator between Dangote and the marketers. Now, we don't understand why Dangote is outrightly blaming the marketers. Do they have the go-ahead to come directly to the largest single-train refinery in Lagos and lift products directly, or should that be the role of the NNPCL?
NNPC is becoming a marketer as well. I can tell you, because they are operating downstream. They have their filling stations everywhere. So NNPC is in the rank of the other marketers too. And that's why Dangote, you know, it's even define logic, you know, that you as a businessman, Dangote, want everybody to buy from you, and they are not buying from you. That shows there's a sign. For me, I like to have a I want to go against unipolar. I want where there will be different sources of buying. So I wouldn't say people should not import, but Dangote should also be patronized if he gives out the good price. So please, let's stop looking at NNPC as now the regulator. I think the regulator should be NNDPR, maybe NUPR. Those are people that I think we should look at. But Dangote now also operates as a marketer. They buy and they sell at their filling stations, and they don't have refinery. Remember, the NNPC does not have refinery. They also either import or buy from Dangote. So I think they are now more of marketer, and that's why we are having this issue, because they are supposed to have their own refinery to use it to control and bring about competition. But when there is no competition, it becomes so difficult. Remember, the mortar blending plant is still there. They still want to sell their products, and that's why we're having this challenge. So I think the major thing is that President should come in. We want them to buy from Dangote, yes, because the more you buy from Dangote, the more you help our forex. The more you buy from Dangote, the more you help our employment. The more you buy from Dangote, the more you help our balance of trade. The more you buy from Dangote, the more you help our GDP. But the fact remains that Dangote must also sell at an affordable price for the market, because marketers want to make profit.
Now talking about affordability of the price vis-a-vis Nigeria's purchasing power, two cities this morning have new prices. In Lagos, where the proximity to the Dangote refinery is quite, would I call it, closer than we have here in Abuja, the price is 1,025 naira per litre, whilst in Abuja, there is a 25 naira increase on that price to 1,050 naira per litre. What does this tell us about the cost of living crisis currently? How affordable is this for Nigerians who some are yet to begin to benefit from the new minimum wage, whilst others are largely not even in the employment of the federal government and live based on what they earn daily? Hello, Doctor, are you with us?
Yes, I'm with you. I can hear you.
My question is on the affordability of the new price in these different cities vis-a-vis Nigeria's purchasing power.
Right. You know, the challenge is that, you know, before we used to have what we call Petroleum Equalization Fund, PTF, whereby there is a balance between who is taking fuel to a nearby or a far place. But now it is changed. It has been deregulated. So you have to buy and sell at the price at which you make profits. And I can tell you that you won't compare somebody in Abuja to somebody in Lagos, because the cost of bringing the PMS down to Abuja, it's very, very high on its own. So, and these are the challenges that we have. And there is no balancing in that area. So you don't blame marketer, even you don't blame NPC. The more the distance, the more the price of fuel. But the thing is that we even need stability in that area. So if you are selling at 1,030 naira in Abuja, why not find a way to sustain it for 1 year, 6 months, so that people can actually plan and have, a balance of it. But because we are importing, because we are not patronizing the local refinery, and because of forex challenges, and because of the global price, we are having that difference every time. And I can tell you, this is how it will continue to fluctuate. We only hope it will fluctuate downward. It will not be upward. If not, it will still continue. But we hope that by now, that we'll have our own refinery. We should be, Dangote is now refining. We should be having it at 900 or 800. That's Nigerians' expectation.
All right, Doctor, at this point, let's also give our viewers the privilege of listening to Alhaji Aliko Dangote himself, where he has largely blamed the marketers for disrupting the supply chain of PMS and is boasting of 500 million litres of reserve to be able to sustain the country without reliance on import. Let's take a listen to Dangote's comments and we'll come back to discuss even further.
We are producers. I have a refinery. I'm not in the business of retail. If I'm in the business of retail, then you hold me responsible. But what I'm saying is that the retailers should please come forward and pick. If they don't come forward and pick, what do you want me to do? There's nothing that I can do. So I am expecting either NNPC or the marketers to stop importing. They should come and collect. We have what they need. And, as they remove, I'll be pumping. I don't know whether you understand what it takes to keep 500 million liters inside our tank. It's costing me money. Every day, if I will be able to collect the naira, I can actually charge somebody 32% in interest. So right now, that's what I'm losing. And you are talking about 500 billion. We don't print money, but the issue is that if they come and collect, then you will not see any queues in the filling stations. We have what it takes for them to come and collect. We are not retailers. We also don't have trucks to send. We have a factory where we can load. If they come and pick, they will go and distribute. And they've been doing that with importation. So if they've been doing that with importation, if it's true they are doing 55 million, I see no reason why they won't come and collect our own and distribute.
Sorry.
Now, Doctor, having listened to Alhaji Aliko Dangote, he says this is clearly an issue of bias, citing the over-reliance on importation, saying that he even has a bigger capacity to supply the country. Do you think that with the narrow for crude deal that Mr. President is also assessing, much of the comments of Dangote can be actualized in the coming weeks?
Right. I think this case is now beyond the Dangote and federal government. It is now a case of Dangote and marketers. And that's why it's an issue that Dangote must solve by itself. You look at what he said, I'm sure his communicator would have advised him because of the way he communicates now. From the point of view of his communication, he's much more self-serving. He said, yeah, I'm losing money. If I have that money in bank at 32, I would have collected interest of 32%. He's not factoring those marketers into his decisions. That's what it simply means. Those marketers might be having issues of price, right? So if you are selling to them and they're not breaking even the price you are giving to them, they will stop patronizing you. They will go as far as any country in the world to make their own profit. So Dangote must also come to terms with those marketers, because the gap is not issue of federal government. You recall before, Dangote also said that he would have to talk to federal government, right, before he can know how much he will sell it to Nigeria. So I guess that is what is still the problem. Perhaps the price is given to those marketers are not what those marketers can afford. And trust every businessman, they are in business to make money, as he also wants to make money, and he's not happy that his fuel is lying down in his tank. So also the business people want to make money. So he should go to the marketers direct and talk to them. The government will not continue to buy from them. Then most downstream is not only NNPCL. We have other private sector in that area. So I think Dangote should go and settle with those marketers. Because it's just two things. Is that the price or the product challenge?
Now, the other three papers we looked at, the Daily Independent, the Matrix, this day, we're talking about how we can achieve stability in the downstream sector. And this Naira for crude transaction policy, have you had the privilege of looking at the papers, and do you think it is quite sustainable as Mr. President envisions?
Well, I think it is sustainable because we have everything here. The payer is here, the collector and the buyer, so to say, is here. So it's just for us to agree and we pay Naira for crude. But the question is that, you must also know that we are paying Naira in dollar value. I don't know if you get that right. We are also paying Naira in dollar value. What simply means is that if dollar is 1,740, you are still paying equivalent of 1,740 to a dollar in Naira. But it's the choice that is good because there will not be forex problem. You know, we have challenge of forex supply side. So that would have reduced that. But for how it will help Dangote to actually sell cheap, I've not seen how. It only make it is to the benefit of the federal government and Nigerians, not to the benefit of Dangote in any way, and not to maybe Dangote would deny himself anything to really give Nigeria a succor. So what I just think is that let's start with that and let Nigeria make sure it is sustainable. But I think it's sustainable because CBN is involved and CBN will take charge of that. All they need to do is just have a dedicated unit for it that will handle that Dangote Naira for crude.
Now, one of the other highlights is the fact that Afrexim Bank has been named as the settlement bank. You rightly said that it is a large determinant of what the value of the exchange rate is day on day. But owing to your knowledge of Afrexim Bank and its settlement capacity in this stead, are you telling us and Nigerians that indeed they are well and capable to handle this in terms of whatever settlements either the NNPCL or Dangote would need?
I only wonder why it is Afrexim Bank. I was thinking, in that case, we should have one local with global presence bank. Maybe most of them are now having global presence. You can use one of them and also use Afrexim Bank because it's as if you are still going global with this. You can do it local. Everything should be done local. So for me, I think it's possible, but don't let it be. I don't think we have to take control on Afrexim Bank. We use one local bank and also Afrexim Bank. For me, I think that would have worked. I don't know the logic behind why it is even Afrexim Bank in the first place, but I will canvass for a local bank that have global presence and Afrexim Bank.
Now, this tendency of Nigeria to always be benchmarked by global prices is one of my major worries again this morning. Because looking at it, the global price of crude is dropping at a time when the country Nigeria is jacking up the prompt price of PMS. Does this beat your imagination that we continue to keep our eyes on the global market despite having local and homegrown solutions with the coming on board of Dangote Refinery?
Well, like you know, even in global competition, we do not have the wherewithal to compete globally. So if our quota is maybe 2,100 barrel per day, right? I'm not sure we have meet up to 1,700. No, I'm not sure we have meet up our quota. Let me use that language. So we are not a good global player. Even in global market, we are also disadvantaged, and that's what is actually happening. But the global price coming down will not even have effect in Nigeria because of the price of dollar. You know, price of dollar is a problem because a dollar is 1,740 compared to Naira. So we cannot benefit from that until we have enough thing pushing out and we have a good forex, a balance of trade, a balance of payment, whereby we have our forex under control, not willing buyer, willing seller. That's when we can benefit. If not, the more we have increase in dollar value, the more we pay more for PMS.
Now, before we move on to other issues in the news, lastly on this issue of how to solve stability in our petrol supply chain, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Edun, has largely lauded this policy, and he says the projection is that Nigeria is on the right path for industrialization with this Naira for crude deal. Do you agree with him, and why so?
Well, even before that statement, I think for us to have Dangote refinery and petrochemical, I think we're on the right trajectory already. The only thing we need to do is to manage Dangote very well, and that's the challenge we are having here. You know, for Dangote, dealing with federal government seems to be very, very, very much easy compared to Dangote dealing with the marketers. And marketers are the major people that needs to be dealt with in this case, because government are supposed to be only regulator and enabler for every business to survive. But in terms of the operationalization, Dangote needs to also, because if he continues to store in his tank farm, he said he have 500 million barrels. If he doesn't really have anything doing well with the Nigerian marketers, he will continue to have over 1 billion in his tank farm and nobody will buy. So for me, I think it's the right thing. We are in the right direction, making sure that we do Naira for crude approach. I think that's fine, but he must also deal with the marketers, because federal government cannot force the marketers to buy from Dangote. Dangote can only get his product attractive by giving the marketers affordable price where they can also make profit, or maybe enhance his product if that is what they actually need. So he needs to deal with those people. And he has been in business for long. He knows what to do. In cement, he knows how he managed to deal with his distributor. So he should try as well as much as possible to maybe reduce himself from everything federal government to also deal with the marketers.
Now, let's come to another conversation. It's an issue in the news that has lingered for all the while we've had the conversation here on the program, particularly when we talked about, you know, fintechs versus commercial banks, and also examine the NIBBS system. In the last few weeks, I don't know if you've had the challenges many Nigerians are lamenting about in carrying out financial transactions. There have been IT glitches. Have you had any of such experiences?
100%. I've had a lot of businesses challenge in terms of transaction. I can tell you up till now, someone want to establish payment is pretty difficult. In fact, for a particular bank, they're able to solve ordinary bank accounts, but corporate account is still difficult to really work with, and it brings a lot of hardship for Nigerians. You know, business has to do with trust. So when you are not able to pay as and when due, it becomes a problem, and it brings about trust deficit. I can tell you there's trust deficit between customers and bank now, and it's a big challenge. CBN must do something. I could also see FCCPC carpeted banks for inability to actually maintain that. Most banks overnight, they can solve this problem. And must you also upgrade at the same time? You could see that a particular bank did so, another one follows suit. You can do it in a gradual thing that will appear seamless to the customer. It's a serious issue that CBN must quickly intervene.
Now, on the severity of this issue, the FCCPC, in protecting customers, which is part of its core mandates, many are saying are not giving adequate compensations to customers who have either lost travel time or been outrightly unable to take care of health bills whilst this bank are having issues. In terms of some compensation, is there any way the FCCPC can find a common ground for some aggrieved customers to get some sort of compensation or remuneration for such infractions?
Well, from Save the Consumer, our own NGO, we have tried as much as possible to advocate on what we call service break. You know, there's no perfect organization in this world. There will be service break someday. And when service break come, which is, it could be a breach in services, you know, when service break now come up, it's just three things. One, you have to acknowledge that, yes, we apologize, there's a break in service. Thereafter acknowledging, you know, you have to move to the next level, which is compensation. You know, people don't get the science of compensation very well. It does not cost an arm or a leg to compensate. You just need to maybe do an upgrade or of even a bank account. So if somebody is having ordinary bank account and he can only save maybe save and withdraw maybe 200,000, you can upgrade that person because of the service break. So there's a lot of things they can do, and that's why we advocate that you have to know how to manage your customer experience very well. You must be proactive. There could be a lot of compensation could be given to customers, and I think we deserve it at this point in time. They only need to go and think about what kind of compensation are they going to give to customers. It's just a simple thing that any bank can come by. They only need to put their thinking cap and compensate people. I think we deserve to be compensated with this level of breach. People have lost trust in business. People have lost travel time. You know, I can tell you someone who actually wants to make payment to our office, up till now, since about 5 days, she cannot even access her account. she will go to the bank and the bank will say, we are on it. Anytime soon it will be ready. Anytime soon it will be ready and 3 days has gone and we have lost our business opportunity. So it's quite a sad one. I think they should be quick about it. And also, FCCPC, like their usual thing, I recall, they used to put up a sanction. Though there's an argument that the sanction should come to the customers, but they said no. I recall I was with one of their head, it is Babatunde Irukera, on a TV show where I said every compensation should go to the customer. But he now argues that no, they will collect the compensation to the covers of the federal government. No problem, but these people need to be sanctioned so that it will be a deterrent for other people not to break the service without adequate considering the customers and the loss they could suffer with that occurrence.
Now, Doctor, on customer responsibility on the part of these banks, there's also been an issue with communication management. You go on X, you go on Facebook or on Instagram, you see speculations. Many say it's hackers. Some persons take screenshots of their bank accounts and there's fluctuations in the figures. While some numbers go up, others numbers run down. Most of the times, these banks do not issue a public notice to address the speculations. Nigerians are left to run with whatever rumors they find online. In keeping with customer responsibility, what do you advise that banks do in times like this to build that trust which you've noted is largely deficit?
Right. I think there's what we call consumer rights, and we have about 8 of them. The first is right to information. That's the first thing they should do. And when we say right to information, I can tell you authoritatively, one of my person told me that our bank account is fluctuating. She has more, and they say she has less. As she went there, they said it will rectify soon. That's a big issue. So I think as our bank will start coming out clean, some will speculate that it is actually hackers. Some will say it's our service downtime. Why not come out and be direct and to straightforward to Nigeria just want the truth, and we want a timeline at which you can even under promise. Sometimes you don't tell people that you solve tomorrow. You can tell it's a week, and people who have patience and be waiting. No, during that period, it happens. It becomes a delight. So I think the first thing we should do is that our consumers must be respected, which is right to information, right to choice. You must tell us what is actually happening, and that's why speculation goes viral, because one person will go to the social media and assume, because the major people that are supposed to communicate are not doing the right communication. And in this case, if they're not doing the right communication, I think CBN should come and do the right communication, because now it has gotten escalated. It is not a news again to any person, let alone CBN, to know that there's a particular challenge in the banking sector.
Now, moving away from this issue, another issue making headlines this morning, and let's refer to the Daily Times. On the Daily Times earlier, we saw a comment coming in from the Nigerian Shippers Council. I was quite amused that in the reshufflements, we didn't hear anything about the marine and blue economy, but the headline is talking about $2.5 billion lost for a lack of implementation of tracking notes over a period of 5 years under review. Now, Doctor, we talked about the need for our economy to be generating on all fronts. The creation of marine and blue economy. Now we see the Shippers Council talk about a 5-year period in which $2.5 billion has been lost for a non-implementation of tracking notes. Is the minister and the Shipping Council not supposed to find some synergy to block these short holes?
Right. I never expected reshufflement in 3 ministry, largely because they actually knew they are trying to get their foot. Know what it means to establish a system, and also to establish a ministry that will handle a new thing. And the ministries are Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, Ministry of Mining, and Ministry of Steel Development. They are new, so and that should be a low-hanging fruit to generate employment from Mr. President, because if you see Marine and Blue Economy, they are at least they can generate a lot of employment. If you look at mining is also doing well to an extent, because we now have mining corporation, and steel development is also new, so we expect them to do more. But in terms of tracking note, I think it must have been an ongoing crisis before the new minister actually came, because it's also have gone ahead before the new minister, because you said 5 years, and it just came in barely 1 year, 1 month or so that they will have minister. So for me, I think it's just like a destical attitude on our agents, because we have NPA for long, and I should have been responsibility of the DG of NPA. So I think government must take charge of these little things that can actually generate a whole lot for us. So it's a gap, and I think we must be as quick as possible. And I'm happy that this newspaper actually bring me to the front burner, and that's part of why we appreciate print media and brokers, journalist organization like yours that bring about such issues to the front burner, and there will be attention to it. I think going forward, there should be an attention to this gap that is ongoing.
Now, and then keeping with more issues, we have about a quarter of an hour to look at other issues in the news, and predominantly it's issues of income tax and electricity. We start with electricity. There has been another subtle hike in electricity tariffs, but predominantly the one making headlines is the blackout in the north. A lot of blames have been on vandalism of the 330 kVA lines on the Shiroro power line. But this morning, the Minister of Power, Chief Adebayo Adelabu, is calling for capital punishment for electricity vandals. The federal government is also promising 14 days in which they would fix the situation with blackouts in the north. Let's get your thoughts on these situations as it affects the power sector.
You know, I tried to examine what is responsible for the current blackout, and it appeared that it's vandalism. But we've not been able to factor if it is by terrorists or by mere vandalists or by contractors that want to get business again in that same area. But be that as it may, I think we should go beyond this manual way of doing things. There should be a way those systems can be monitored in real time, that there will be a system that will monitor electricity line, you know, especially those ones that are prone to vandalism. So I think that's number one. Number two is that we also have blackout in Bayelsa. So what is the factor that is causing blackout in Bayelsa? Is it the same vandal that are vandalizing all these cables? But for me, I think it's a lack of continuous maintenance on our part. Because if we have a grid, and that's why I want to agree with the Minister for Power, who said they will decentralize the grid management. Because if it's one-way thing, it's a serious problem. It's quite saddening that for close to 10 days now, the northern part has been suffering blackout. I was in Kaduna this last weekend, and I could see the level of the business loss that people are experiencing. You need to see how hotels have to use the diesel all through. You need to see how business have to survive with this expensive fuel to power their agents. You know, you need to see the level of hardship, and I can tell you it has reduced the income of a lot of businesses in that area, in that it has affected business operation in that area. But Nigeria must, like we always said is that energy security remain a fulcrum that every good or business-minded country must make sure they take serious. Now, you have the issue of hiking diesel, hiking even LPG, hiking PMS, even the CNG is getting a hike again because we buy it at 230 from a particular one, and NNPC itself is selling it at 380 and above. So that means we don't have hope that this energy will come down at any point in time. So for Adelabu, I think he should be much more proactive, because some of us even think the government will show him way out because of this inability to actually handle that sector very. Perhaps maybe he's working behind that we are not seeing. The president is seeing most of Nigeria. So maybe that is okay. But generally, I think there is need to do more in that area for us to have a better energy security.
Now, and lastly, our last issue to discuss this morning is income tax. This morning, the Guardian newspaper gave us the benefits of an infographics depicting the different regions of the country and their IGR in the last 1 year. But we're told shockingly that a good number of states are dependent totally on federal allocation. 32 states depend on FAC for 55% of their revenue, while 14 others for 70%. Now, this poor IGR raises a fiscal sustainability concern for most of the states. Apart from the likes of Lagos, the FCT, and Rivers, which have some level of sustainability, what are we doing in leveling this income tax, which has been one of the major driving factors to get IGR on track?
Right. I think it's a big issue, and it's very, very appalling that about 14 states is expecting government to survive their state with 70% from FAC. allocation, while 32 is about 55%. At this point in time, I think state needs to go beyond coming cap in hand to FCT to collect money at every point. What are you actually doing? And that's why some of us canvass for our counterpart funding sometimes, that if you want to really help these states, let them do something by themselves. You know, a very intentional state can go through agriculture and get about 50% of its IGR from that area, because that area is just very, very large and available. You know, you have the arable of land, you can buy the tools, and you can also harvest and sell. But because of the availability of this, maybe that's why they are doing like that. But we are now having what we call regional ministry now, though I'm not a party to that regional, because in the long run it might cause its own problem. But now that we have regional agency now, we should now challenge every region to tap into their own natural resources and make sure that they reduce the level at which they come cap behind the federal capital. So we must discourage such a way of doing things. Every state must be able to generate 50% of what they actually need, you know, and government will bring fact that will complement it with 50%, because it's quite discouraging. And that's why when the issue of taxation, the reform in tax came about, that the Northern governor said that they actually do not actually agree with it. I do not agree with it, because you cannot have a bank everywhere in Nigeria, and you now say the VAT will come from the headquarters, which the advantage will now go to Lagos. Meanwhile, the operationalization is in other states. However, it also called for serious challenge to other states to attract investments in their area. Who says there cannot be headquarters in your place? If you are creating enabling environments, headquarters can still domicile in your area and you still get what you actually want. But for IGR, I think we need to do. But then for issue of personal income tax, you recall that now that we have more increments in salary, the more you earn, the more you pay tax. Maybe that could be one of the factors that is going to lead to more income in terms of personal income tax.
Well, Doctor, I must thank you for your time on the program this morning. We appreciate you for giving us your objective thoughts on issues in the news. We're wishing you the best of the rest of today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, this is the size of our local newspaper review. We have a special report on polio, and in a bid to eradicate polio in Nigeria, we'll look at that shortly. But we'll also be talking more on the foreign newspapers and what they have on their front pages in this regard. But whilst we get the foreign papers to greet your screens, let's also remind you that our main topic of discussion later at 9 o'clock, away from income tax like we discussed with Dr. Aliu Ilyas, we'll be looking at the position of northern governors, monarchs and leaders who are rejecting the tax reform bill as envisioned by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. What are some of their concerns in that regard? Well, our guest on the program is the National Coordinator Coalition of Northern Groups, Jamilu Aliyu Taranchi, who will be in our studios and we'll be discussing about this. But in the interim, let's cross over and look at what the foreign newspapers have as headlines this morning. Now, we'll begin with the Daily Express, where we'd find the headline story following the murder of a teen who was in possession of Al-Qaeda manual and biological toxins. The headline on the Daily Express this morning reads, Southport knife attack, accused faces terror. Southport knife attack, accused faces terror. The lead story on the Daily Express this morning. Now, and away from the Daily Express, we'll also take a look at the Daily Mail. On the Daily Mail this morning, 3 feature stories of prominence, one on the header. The one on the header reads, last-minute budget plan that could save you thousands. Last-minute budget plan that could save you thousands. Whilst the lead story, I nearly lost to first with weight loss jab. Can I stay slim without them? Comments from Nadine Doris. The caption beneath that, Southport suspect had raisins poison and Al-Qaeda material. As new charges revealed, Tories asked, why didn't authorities tell public sooner? Away from the Daily Mail, let's also take a look at the Financial Times. On the Financial Times this morning, the headline reads, UK borrowing cost hits post-election record
on eve of Reeves' first budget. Markets brace for tax heat, new borrowing to top £20 billion, fiscal rules shift, vows to invest for growth. Away from the Financial Times this morning, the Australian newspaper is our next focus. On the Australian, you'd find the headline, Scandalous COVID Betrayal of Trust. Scandalous COVID Betrayal of Trust is a story that's making headlines this morning. And away from that, on the Daily Telegraph as well, let's look at the headline feature. The Daily Telegraph looks at the Southport attacker who was said to be in possession of the Al-Qaeda manual as its headline, above which you'd find Alison Person, why I'm backing Kemi Badenoch. Another interesting story featured on the Daily Telegraph this morning. Whilst beneath that, you'd find Chancellor gives Armed Forces £3 million boost. Chancellor gives Armed Forces £3 billion boost. There's a feature stories this morning on the Daily Telegraph. Away from the Daily Telegraph this morning, let's look at the iPaper. On the iPaper this morning, more on stories from the UK as Reeves hands 6.7% wage raise to low earners as millions face painful tax increase. Labour agrees minimum wage raise for $3 million from April as Chancellor Rachel Reeves sets new financial course for UK. Reeves says she will reject austerity and fund investment in hospitals, homes and schools in first Labour budget in 14 years. Chancellor said to further freeze income tax bans, raise capital gains tax and hike employers' national insurance. Parties accused of breaching pledge not to hit working people as Reeves aims to find £40 billion to plug financial black hole. Away from the iPaper, our next feature is on the Irish Times. On the Irish Times, you'd find prominently captured beneath the masthead, extra 80,000 workers needed for housing. Extra 80,000 workers needed for housing. Irish electricity prices second highest in EU. Those are two of the prominent features that are captured on the Irish Times. Now, leaving the Irish Times, let's cross over to the New York Times. On the New York Times this morning, let's look for some of the eligible headline stories we can find. It might be a little bit tiny in print, but inserted to the right-hand corner, Trump portends ethnic concerns larger than 16. Trump portends ethnic concerns larger than 16 is one of the feature stories to look out for on the New York Times. Well, lastly, in Brooklyn, humble touch of home for long-gone Dodgers. Talking about the sports a lot of persons love in the New York. Well, lastly, on the foreign scene, let's look at the Wall Street Journal. On the Wall Street Journal this morning, beneath the masthead, you'd find the caption, Launch move, China closer to lunar outpost goal. Launch moves China closer to lunar outpost goal. Merck's startup, XAII, $40 billion valuation. The feature headline, Google's cloud unit powers accelerating revenue growth. These are the headlines we're looking at on the foreign newspapers this morning. Well, be reminded that ADBN TV has an in-house program called Global Digest that gives you a broader scope into the world around you with more stories from the foreign scene that takes the airwaves at 3 p.m. later today. So be sure to join Global Digest at 3 p.m. for more in-depth analysis into foreign stories. Well, having said that, before we take our main discussion at 9, let's give you the special report on the efforts of Nigeria in combating polio virus. Take a listen.
Nigeria's battle with poliomyelitis, also known as wild polio, has been proclaimed a huge success as there has been no recorded case of wild polio virus since 2016. The last case was recorded in Borno State, Northeast Nigeria in 2016. World Health Organization certified Nigeria as polio-free in 2020.
Polio has ended in our country in a proud dawn for all Nigerians.
UNICEF confirms over 270 million doses of vaccines are administered yearly to sustain Nigeria's polio-free status. Health specialists for social behavior change highlighted need for evidence by planning with data to address polio in each community to keep up awareness on the disease.
The key principle for social behavior change is really to have evidence. So we want data to guide all our planning and activities so that we can get the best results. And to get them on board to really also at community level to start demanding the polio vaccine for the protection of all children, ultimately so that all parents would automatically vaccinate their children every single campaign round so that their children are protected, but also the community children are protected. We cannot do the same activities and same message everywhere because every community is a little bit different, and not only looking at different states in the north, but also south is different. And even within community you have smaller groups. Not all parents are the same. Younger parents may have different priorities and values than parents that have many children already.
District Governor, Rotary District 9127, Dr. Mike Ukachi-Nwanoshiri, emphasized the need for continuous vaccination to maintain a polio-free country.
The legacy of polio is occurring again in India because the waterborne disease. So if we don't continue the vaccination, we'll go back to where we started. That's why the collaboration is very, very important. Like other organizations that are joining force with us when we started it in 1988. If not so, it might be a problem where everybody, our children, but with that collaboration from other countries and they're buying the ideas and understanding the program initiated by Rotary International. That's why we're able to control it. Remember some years back, many countries today we are talking about 2, and we are hoping in the next year to be 0.
District Polio Plus Committee Chairman Dr. Sis Khadijat Kubarat Yusuf called for more advocacy, confirming improvement in acceptability of polio vaccine in the country.
Initially, there was serious issue of rejection, but with advocacy, education, and knowledge, more parents are now encouraged to participate without giving stress to parents. Monitoring and accountability is going on. WHO and the field, the UNICEF, Rotarians.
While continued threat of this resurgence requires active vigilance and proactive community engagement, Polio Eradication Program of the World Health Organization Regional Office for Africa, in collaboration with Global Polio Eradication Initiative, has set in motion a comprehensive array of prevention and response strategies to sustain Nigeria's polio-free status. These encompass implementation of supplementary immunization activities while building up human workforce as well as providing technical assistance. Others include enhancing surveillance endeavors and refinement of data and information management, which notably includes utilization of cutting-edge geospatial technologies to reach every last child and make polio history once and for all. Peace. Ogenegbawe, ADBN News.
Welcome to the Niger Delta, a region of incredible beauty and stark contrast. From its breathtaking landscapes to its rich cultural heritage, this is a place where history and modernity collide. But beneath this serene surface lies a story of struggle and resilience. The Niger Delta is the lifeblood of Nigeria's economy, home to vast oil reserves that fuel the nation, yet it is a land where the people fight for their share of the wealth. Join us on the program Niger Delta Today as we explore the heart of the Niger Delta, discover the vibrant cultures, the struggles for environmental justice, and the stories of the people who call this place home. This is the Niger Delta, a land of contrast, a story of resilience, a journey of hope. Don't miss our exclusive series, Niger Delta Today, every day at 12 noon, only on ADBN TV. Witness the untold stories. Experience the journey. Be part of the change.
Across the globe, rural women are the backbone of food production, working tirelessly to provide for their families and communities. Oh, their contributions are invaluable. They are often unseen. In Nigeria, these men form the bedrock of the agricultural sector, cultivating the food that sustains millions. Despite facing economic challenges, they continue to grow and harvest crops, feeding not just their families, but an entire nation. According to the Food and Agricultural Organization, they make up a large proportion of the agricultural labor force, between 60% and 79%, depending on the region. These women are responsible for key food crops as cassava, yams, and maize, which are staples in Nigeria's diet. Additionally, they play a key role in small-scale livestock farming. Meet the women behind the food on our tables. Farmers who have cultivated not just crops, but hope for a better tomorrow. We visited their farms to see firsthand how they contribute to feeding communities, even in the face of adversity. These women grow rice, beans, yams, and more, producing the very food we rely on every day. Their dedication to farming is more than a job. It is a way of life passed down through generations.
These are the egg farm. Both beans, they are inside. All they are together, both okra. So the okra, they plug the okra. Sometimes, like now, the okra, sometimes they get reach 5 bag. Before they get it reach like 10 bag, but now, like 5 bag, because I don't have too much of money that I'm farming now. They got the egg before they get a reach like 20 bags. So now the tea reduced and they get like 10 bags now.
Ada wannan benestiri bai kosa aka ba yanzu aka mudu 2,500 bu 140.
Unicorn before is 70, now it's more than 100.
Their contribution to society goes beyond the fields. These women are not just farmers, they are mothers, entrepreneurs, and community builders. Their efforts support the local economy, nourish families, and build a better future for their children. Sarkin Danladi Saleh, who is a community leader in this community, emphasizes the essential role these women play in the sustainable growth of local food production.
Our community, our women, most especially our women, they used to farm. Farm is their sources of their business to sustain their life and to provide money and sponsor their children to school.
Yet, behind every success, there are struggles. These women face a lack of access to fertilizers, transportation, and financial support. Even theft threatens their livelihood.
You know, say this farm that we are farm, we have issue of money because we are giving them money to farm for us. Because you get the time that we will not have the strength to do it. Even though you have the strength, like our men, they like money, so we give them money to farm for us.
The thing they affect us too much because we will not get grant. What would they take the farm? Nah, higher would they hire them? Sometimes 50,000, 30,000 now would they spend before then we go get land to farm.
Ina bukatan taki, rashin kudi ne, isheshen kudi ne ba shi ba. Taki ma muna saya ne. kame mu samu kudi mu saya da shi wahala ne.
Gender disparities in access to resources such as irrigation, mechanization, and financial services persist, significantly affecting their productivity. Social norms and legal barriers further limit women's ownership of land, reducing their agricultural output and economic empowerment. Rural women in Nigeria who play a pivotal role in food production are deeply affected by the current economic challenges that have led to significant hikes in food prices. This has directly impacted food availability and affordability as rural farmers, especially women, struggle to maintain production levels while dealing with reduced purchasing power and access to essential supplies. The result has been a sharp increase in food prices across the country. Both buyers and sellers in the marketplaces express their concerns. Sellers, facing rising costs of transportation and inputs, are forced to raise prices, while buyers express frustration over their dwindling purchasing power.
So every people when they come to buy, they complain too much. They say they think too high. Some people that they buy 5 mudu before, they're going to start to 1 mudu, 2 mudu.
So how much did they sell this one before?
Before they sell them 700.
The gari is 1,001. Before we are selling it 350, 400 naira, but now it's 1,001.
You can't touch, you can't price. Even as I just enter this market this afternoon, everything I touch is too cost. I could not buy anything, so the thing provoked me, make me annoyed. I'm going home.
The high rate of things increasing, and before you know, you buy something in the morning, in the afternoon is high, times 3 of what you price in the morning.
On this International Day for Rural Women, we celebrate the women whose hands feed us, whose strength inspires us, and whose work sustains our future. Their contributions are endless and their resilience unmatched. As we honor them today, we must also strive to support and uplift the women who make it all possible.
Good hygiene globally has been identified as critical to preventing spread of infectious diseases and helping communities lead long, healthy lives. Raising awareness about the importance of knowledge and learning on hand hygiene at the right times has also been identified as even more important, as the hand is a major contributor to one of the gateways into the human system. Global Hand Washing Day was initiated in 2008 by the Global Hand Washing Partnership at the annual World Water Week in Stockholm, Sweden. The day aims to make people around the world aware of the importance of washing hands with cleaning agents to prevent diseases. Outbreak in Nigeria of Ebola virus disease in 2014 galvanized government and people to action to consistently promote and practice effective hand washing with disinfectants. However, without a culture of good hand hygiene practice and availability of enabling facilities and products such as water and soap, hand washing will be a near impossibility. Federal government, in partnership with the World Health Organization and UNICEF, prepared a roadmap 2021 to 2025 to help achieve this global goal. 3 years down the lane, are clean hands still important?
Washing hands are still very vital, are still very important, even though we are not in the COVID-19 era. It is still very vital that we promote hand washing in this society. We have waterborne diseases, we have the flu, and we have other diseases that definitely, without washing your hands properly, you can still definitely get.
I think washing your hands is very good for your health, and then it takes away the germs and keep you clean, and also you can also make contact with other people without them getting infected with germs or so on.
Access to hygiene services has become very important to achieving this roadmap. 2021 reports have it that only 17% of households have access to basic hand hygiene services. This, unfortunately, has been rated as too low to achieve a great hygienic community, leading to a renewed advocacy for healthy hand hygiene. How far are people catching up with this advocacy?
I do wash my hand all the time. I have shampoo. Whenever I touch the customer hair, after barbing him, I do come outside and wash my hand so as to maintain my hand, so as to avoid bacteria. Because there are many people whereby if you see their hair, they have some rashes, dandruffs on their hair. So I need to wash my hand in case I want to eat something.
It's a normal thing, even from nature. Everybody, we are meant to take hygiene serious, but due to cause, things of, the situation of Nigeria, too many times we are not reluctant in thinking back or what consequences hand washing, could bring to us. The disaster and the hazard, and we are always in a haste. In Nigeria, that is one thing. Counting of money is one thing that is very, very risky because the whole Nigeria touch the money before it gets to you. So you are at risk of contacting different things. But we do wash our hands. That one is normal. We wash our hands always. But on several occasions, we do forget.
Because this is our business, we normally use charcoal. So if we use our hand to pack charcoal and put on the fire, then we have to wash the hand before we use it to sell for customers. And when we are busy selling, we used to collect money with our hands, and we will still wash our hand before we use that hand to sell for customers, because many customers, they don't like it, especially when you are serving customers. You use the other hand to collect money. So we say, why will you collect money with that hand and you still use the hand to serve? That is why when we collect money with our hand, we have to wash our hand before we serve customers. That is how we do it.
With at least 167 million homes without access to hand washing facilities, the country has demonstrated its commitment in developing a hand hygiene for all initiative roadmap as one of the pilot countries under the Hand Hygiene for All initiative designed to move the world towards universal access to hand washing. What guiding principles and strategic objectives must be pursued to achieve a significant shift by 2025?
We need to focus on some goals, that is education, awareness. We definitely need to make more awareness about hand washing and why it is very important and vital to participate in hand washing. We need to make people more aware of why they should actually wash their hands. Even though we are not in the COVID-19 era, there has to be more enlightenment. There needs to be more awareness about hand washing, create more hand washing facilities in public spaces such as schools, such as hospitals, if possible, even roads that we pass. Hand washing facilities needs to be there. So we need to make it more accessible for everybody.
Going beyond the roadmap, how can the culture of hand washing be sustained?
Social media campaigns, campaigning for global hand washing. Like, it is not only because we were in the COVID-19 era we should wash their hands, we should wash our hands, we should bring in more visibility of hand washing and why it is actually important for us to wash our hands. The government, non-governmental organizations, we need to all work together towards the purpose of why hand washing, global hand washing, is actually very, very important.
Whenever you touch anything, make sure you wash your hands, especially if you're going to your mouth. If you're eating, you wash your hands. After eating, you wash your hands. Whatever you're doing, just wash your hands. Make sure that your hands are always clean.
Good hand hygiene is an economical public health measure and a cornerstone for safe and effective healthcare. It is a crucial protection against a wide range of diseases, stopping transmission of COVID-19, which further raised public health awareness and preventing other outbreak-related diseases and critical to combating antimicrobial resistance. Clean hands are therefore still important and must be maintained. peace or Genegbawe.
No matter wetin I see, enough fit make mouth heavy to talk am. That's now why people dey talk.
You know wetin dey worry you, but you no go fit take help yourself.
In this kind of situation now, what if they really no talk to una? Wetin be the way forward?
They go bury our chairman on Thursday. We go remain here.
Make we talk good where we dey see good, and where we know say we no dey see good, make we also dey talk am.
No woman, no mother deserve to know the grave of his child.
The bank manager and the bank executive, they are the one the government should first face.
People They Talk, the show on Monday to Friday by 5 p.m. on top ADBN TV.
Welcome to the world where innovation meets opportunity, where ideas become empires. This is Market TV.
I am Idorian Flannan, and every week I'll be taking you inside the dynamic world of marketing and commercial business.
From groundbreaking startups to big businesses, Market TV brings you the best pricing and latest goods on display.
It's all about understanding your audience and staying ahead of the trends.
Witness the creative processes that drive the various brands.
Join us as we dive deep into the strategies that shape the commercial landscape. From streets to traditional advertising and social media, we cover it all.
Whether you're a seasoned professional or an aspiring entrepreneur, Market TV provides the insights you need to thrive.
This show gave us the tool to turn our vision into reality.
So, if you're ready to master the market, tune into Market TV every Saturday at 6 p.m.
Welcome to the Niger Delta, a region of incredible beauty and stark contrast. From its breathtaking landscapes to its rich cultural heritage, this is a place where history and modernity collide. But beneath this serene surface lies a story of struggle and resilience. The Niger Delta is the lifeblood of Nigeria's economy, home to vast oil reserves that fuel the nation, yet it is a land where the people fight for their share of the wealth. Join us on the program Niger Delta Today as we explore the heart of the Niger Delta, discover the vibrant cultures, the struggles for environmental justice, and the stories of the people who call this place home. This is the Niger Delta, a land of contrast, a story of resilience, a journey of hope. Don't miss our exclusive series, Niger Delta Today, every day at 12 noon, only on ADBN TV. Witness the untold stories, experience the journey, be part of the change.
Step into the heartbeat of the world, where news meets real talk. From breakthroughs in diplomacy to humanitarian challenges and scientific milestones, Global Digest takes you beyond the headlines and straight to the heart of the matter. I am Amma Marcus. Be a part of the world unfolding stories at 3 p.m. on ADBN, channel 258 on DSTV, and Star Times, channel 140. Global Digest, your window to the world's current affairs, only on Advocate Broadcasting Network.
In a world of overwhelming voices where everyone has different opinion on different issues, it is important that we bring the core issue to the fore. Join me, Nancy Banigo, on Softline as we lend our voices to inform and influence your thoughts and actions. This is not just mere talk, it is an invocative program that touches the core of our existence.
Welcome to the Niger Delta, a region of incredible beauty and stark contrast. From its breathtaking landscapes to its rich cultural heritage, this is a place where history and modernity collide. But beneath this serene surface lies a story of struggle and resilience. The Niger Delta is the lifeblood of Nigeria's economy, home to vast oil reserves that fuel the nation, yet it is a land where the people fight for their share of the wealth. Join us on the program Niger Delta Today as we explore the heart of the Niger Delta, discover the vibrant cultures, the struggles for environmental justice, and the stories of the people who call this place home. This is the Niger Delta, a land of contrast, a story of resilience, a journey of hope. Don't miss our exclusive series, Niger Delta Today, every day at 12 noon, only on ADBN TV. Witness the untold stories, experience the journey, be part of the change.
Well, thanks for staying with us on Morning Express this Wednesday morning. We sincerely apologize for some adjustments to our schedule of programming, but it's time for us to get into our main discussion of the day. We're now being joined by a tax analyst, Mr. Philip Orji, who is joining us over the phone this morning. And it's in line with the Northern State Governors Forum, who met to reject some proposals as captured in President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's tax reform bills that is being considered by the National Assembly. Their concerns are based on principles of fairness in national policies. Now, let's see if we can have a conversation with Mr. Philip Orji, who joins us over the phone this morning. Hello, sir. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning. Happy to have you.
Very well. Thanks for joining us this morning. The last time you were on the program, you also voiced some of your grievances over the way the Taiwo Oyadele community is going about Nigeria's tax reforms. Now, it may seem as though the political leaders and traditional leaders in the northern part of the country are sharing some of the sentiments you hold dear. What are some of those concerns you have about the value-added tax increases projected to increase to 10% in the year 2025 amidst other tax reforms that are being considered by the National Assembly?
Thank you very much. You know, one thing about this matter, when I said that Nigerians are not being carried along, I think I'll be vindicated, right?
It may seem as though.
So what I'm saying is that actually about 2 weeks ago, I wrote memo to about 15 emirs. I cannot communicate governors, but I can have the link to emirs. They are not saying far from what they know about my memo. They are not even saying based on my memo alone. They are seeing the areas that things are not concerned, that things that concern the poor and the vulnerable Nigerians are not even considered in Taiwo Oyadele's committee's tax policies. The people of Nigeria are not carried along. It's not just only the north. Very soon, the south, southeast, southwest will react. The truth of the matter is that what they are presenting is not a cure to our problem. Increasing VAT. Okay, if somebody claims that the VAT they are doing is progressive, how is it that it is going to be 10% next year, 2025? 2026 will now be 12.5%. Between 2027 to 2029 will be 15%, which means there is no survival in sight. Or maybe there's nothing that will say that does not show that we are going to get out of this trouble very soon. So, but I'm telling them that additional things are not what take care of the matter. They're even trying to say that the World Bank said that they should charge us to kill the people they are trying to save, according to them. Are they going to charge us with our blood? The emirs are correct, because even the so-called VAT and the sharing formula, they are even adding in their own matter. I don't want to talk about sharing because the money is World Bank's money, because they are trying to collect it to pay back or service their loan. So automatically, we're not talking about making money yet. When we have where we can make money from. I'm happy you are calling me this morning, but I'll stand tomorrow. I'll be having a very big occasion with the Nigerian not too young to rob. I'm going to present this matter there too. It's a matter of saving this country's yet unborn children we are in now. So nobody should joke with it. Thank you.
Now, Mr. Orji, you've also referenced the World Bank, and we listened to comments coming in from the Minister of Finance, Mr. Wale Edun, on the conditionalities for Nigeria to access $750 billion from the World Bank, and part of it is also tied to this tax reforms that are supposed to take effect from January 1st. Do you think that in some case we are more after this $750 million than some of the concerns you just raised?
Can't you see where we are going to? Can't you see it's a death sentence? What I do, I don't want to go and join issues with him because situation put him in that tight corner. World Bank is giving you ordinary $750 million, which means what I'm saying by ordinary is that it is too small to be a country's concern to go and collect such money with conditions of adding money that will kill the citizens that he intends to collect the money to save. Who is talking about $750 million? Okay, let me tell you what will happen now. If this is that type of money that we are being given conditions to collect, what happened to the rest of the ones who have collected already? And again, do you know that this year's budget is very difficult? Because last year was about $9.something billion was our deficit to be collected as a loan in the last year budget, which is 750 naira per dollar rate. Now this year own is yet to come, but let me tell you, we have no window to borrow any money from the world again. So this concern we are talking about, I think I'm going to see a meeting with the governors of the north, because all whatever honorable minister is saying is completely, I'm sorry to say, it has nothing to do with our survival, because whatever condition they are giving us is very negative, because the money they are trying to collect is still a very little mega money. Anything called about $1 billion or $1.5 billion to us. It's a chicken change to what we're facing us. So let nobody think about borrowing that type of money, because nobody will give us $9 billion again. Because last year they gave us because they see window. There's no window now. That is why you are seeing everything collapsing. But we have a way out. We can make this money by ourselves from our international tax. I will not stop shouting, because I'm thanking people like you who are taking it seriously to air my voice, because people who are asking me money, I cannot go to their station because I have no money to pay them. Thank you very much.
Now, Mr. Philip Orji, let's talk about some of the concepts here so that everyone understands the page we're on. No one is saying that paying taxes is bad. But my question is, how much are the taxpayers carried along? There's supposed to be the principle of having a quarterly taxpayers satisfaction survey. When last was done, and what are Nigerian taxpayers' opinion on this proposal to raise VAT?
Thank you very much. I continue to commend you people. Look, in Nigeria, anything called taxpayers are not, nobody bother about where they are, because one, do you know when you pay a tax in other part of the world, there's something they call tax refund, or even rebate. Meaning that if you pay a tax, some people use it to pay house rent in the end of the year. If somebody has no accountability, how will he be able to know who have the right to collect tax refund? These are the type of things people don't ask in Nigeria. Somebody is just asking you money, and we are paying with our blood. There's no benefit from what you are paying. Because the taxpayers have no say in the matter. How would their satisfaction be measured? Nobody know where they are. They don't want to know where we are. Whether even when you are rich as Dangote and Dr. Dollar and that Eze or Joseph Carlo, they are only comfortable because they can navigate this porous and the wicked method of taxing. Because I call it wicked because somebody is paying you tax, you don't care about his concern, his feeling, his concern, his satisfaction. That S you see, Federal Revenue, Nigerian Revenue Service, that S is carrying two caps. One is servicing the people you are collecting from. That is the service. They are our servants. Federal Revenue is our servant. That's S. Then the other S, the same S carry another cap. That is taxpayer satisfaction. That is why it's not called. It's supposed to, and Nigeria own is supposed to. If they want to tabulate it to what they are doing, it's supposed to be called Nigeria Revenue Authority, not service. If there's service, people are supposed to know what they are doing, and you carry them along. That is the S you see there. If you carry people along, they will be able to ask questions. You will educate them. You sensitize them. They will know their obligations. They will know their rights. There was nothing like that right in Nigeria, which is very bad in today's world.
Now, you've talked about the nomenclature of the FIRS, the Federal Inland Revenue Service, hinging this emphasis on service. Now, we also looked at the 2007 Act that empowered the FIRS, but many are complaining about the need for an ombudsman to oversee most of the activities of the IRS, which is said to be carried out independently or in isolation of a supervising function. How does Nigeria achieve this?
I cannot come again, please. Sorry.
The FIRS, you're talking about the nomenclature and how the emphasis on service needs to also change to show ownership of the Nigerian taxpayers' money. But some of the bottlenecks that are currently affecting the FIRS have also been hinged on plans for an ombudsman. Is this part of the ways of fixing the operationality and functionality of the FIRS?
Let me tell you, that name change and ombudsman is my memo. When he said I'm going to invite me in the committee, they are only been, they know what they did because they were giving 5 billion naira for that committee. They said they will invite them. They even said they should include students in that particular committee. Students came just to show them in television once. They think they didn't call them again. But people like me, who he knew, and he knows what I'm doing, even if there's anybody to be invited in Nigeria, it should be me. At the end, he said, go and join Zoom. I refuse to join that Zoom because it's nonsense. He said, send your memo to me, let me evaluate it to my people. Send to my private mail, which I did send him to his private mail. I will collect it in the private mail and now pick only 2 things among the things I recommended. To change the name of the Federal Inland Revenue Service to Nigerian People's Money, which is Nigerian Revenue Service. I agree, it's my memo. But carrying only one department in my tax inspectorate agency and declaring for some years now, close to 8 years, it was a department in that place that they carry on, because he told me he's going to take that one and join it in Federal Revenue to be a department. I refuse. I say, if you are doing it on your own, I want a separate tax inspectorate agency. That is number one, is that he has 6 departments. Let me name this department. I only went and take one. A department of audit, a department of investigation, a department of inspection and evaluation, a department of mission support. That is a police among us. Because we don't want to hire outside police if the thing come to be. It's supposed to be internal police. Because what we are doing is not just ordinary police work. It's an intelligent IT. AI. We are even migrating to AI. So all those things is what I'm saying that we should have. And the office of the ombudsman and now office of the chief counsel. How many? 6. Audit, investigation, inspection and evaluation, office of the chief counsel, office of the ombudsman, and the office of inspection and evaluation. 6. He might have take only ombudsman, conflict resolution between taxpayers and the tax collector. Only a department, and now put it there. How can only that department do all this job? I'm telling you now. There was nothing there. So, which means Nigerians don't even know what they're supposed to be demanding. The emirs and the governors are actually saying one thing, just claiming on one thing, because they actually had me, but they have no experience, some of the experience I had as a tax expert. So what they are saying is that they should share, whatever they are sharing is not what the issue is here. Tax inspector to separate is the place. Ombudsman should be an independent, it should be independent agency that will have ombudsman as a department. The rest of the 5 departments are doing different type of job to make sure things are done well. It's independent and report to National Assembly, Congressional Committee on Finance. It is how it's been done all part of the world. Just few African countries are yet to connect. And Nigeria, as large as we are, and with our problem, everybody is playing politics with the life of people here. I will not stop shouting. By the grace of God, they will sign this bill into law. Nigeria will get back to their feet. Better than before, I'm telling you.
Now, whilst the bill is before the National Assembly, you have also talked about the need for legislative watchdogs. What are some other recommendations before you're hopeful that the bill be signed into law that the National Assembly should take into consideration?
The truth is that the National Assembly has never said no to this bill. Let us be frank ourselves. From 8th Assembly, 9th Assembly, the bill passed second reading. Orjus Okalu, chief whip then, in the 9th Assembly, the bill passed first and second reading with the name National Inspector General for Tax Crime Commission. In the rep, Ben Kalu, who is a spokesman that time in 9th Assembly, the bill passed, Honorable Ben Kalu, the bill passed first and second reading in the 9th Assembly of the rep with the same name, National Inspector General Tax Crime Commission. But in the 10th Assembly, we think of changing it to inculcate the intentions. Now, Tax Inspectorate Agency of Nigeria, Independent Tax Inspectorate Agency of Nigeria, IRIAN, is coming. It's a legislative watchdog. Do you know why it is called like that? The legislators don't have the capacity to, if they can even oversight any agency, not federal revenue. The reason is that tax have a lot of technicalities and things you have to do to get it done well. So they cannot come to the field to be able to do that type of research. Then they don't have the requisite background and information IT that they will use to do it. So the tax today is connected to security, is connected to cybercrime, is connected to different things like the cryptocurrency and the visual wealth. I mean virtual wealth. The things that you can do, like now somebody will buy cryptocurrency and make it up, and now sell it, take it to buy. That is where we are now. Take it to go and buy a property. You can use cryptocurrency to buy a property. America is just, this recently they be able to connect. To be able to tax that third party, they call it third party transaction in cryptocurrency. So people are going far. We are not even near to what to be talking, where people are talking in the world. So nobody should be talking about whether somebody, federal revenue should just do the job. Maybe they say, or Asanya, how can we create another agency? This agency is supposed to have been there since. So somebody should not talk about Rasanya in this matter. The agency that is important in Nigeria now is the agency that will make us have money. Let us be able to join the world in international operation of taxation, particularly in all this digital method of taxing, to be able to access our own money overseas. There's nothing federal we can do alone. And whatever information they give National Assembly, whatever they wish to give them, because they cannot tell you what is going on because you have no information about it. But if you have tax inspector, it's a legislative watchdog that will report to National Assembly and copy the report to the Auditor General of the Federation. You will see that people will start to have confidence in our operations in the country. If tax operations in Nigeria is equitable, efficient, prudent, you will see that people will have confidence in government. The loss of confidence in government is because of this taxation thing that is not working. One, we will not have money. Two, people are paying too much. A lot of irregularities there. There's nothing to show that we can trust the government that even they say we should start our bread today. What is the hope of that tomorrow we're waiting to get? So
now Mr. Orji, talking about the hope for tomorrow, you've also cited that we're living in a technological age, AI, cryptocurrency, and whatnot. Do you think it is possible for Nigeria to have an automated server where all our national tax receipts are in public view?
Yes, now. If I'm not an expert, I will not be mentioning that. Even though I really know what I'm saying. I am telling you that all these Australia places, and we are going to borrow money there. So they make their things work, and we'll end up not borrowing their ideas to get our own working. We go to borrow money. Let me tell you, normally in the other part of the world, they don't employ their citizens to install those things. Normally in America, it was they are using people of India. The India will come and put the installation because it's going to be, it's a contract. When they come and put the installation, it will not connect just like a bank, the central bank and the banks. It will connect the operation of Federal Revenue and us. A new transformation will happen. Then when they put it, the person that is doing that thing, they will be protected. Most of the time, it may not be in Nigeria sometimes. It will just be coming and going. And the office that the people that does that type of IT space is being protected as if it is a bank. Because there is a problem of that they can be targeted. So their installation is supposed to be protected seriously. So that whatever thing they pay in federal level, you hear that server. There's nobody to come and be begging you to tell us your account. You don't need to tell us account. The account is already somewhere. And that account will be translated to the National Assembly Congressional Committee of Finance. They will be happy to even do that oversight because they will see the real article they will use to ask questions. How can you ask the connector a question when he is the one to tell you whatever he wants? I'm sorry to say that I've been issued. A common sense or even a primary school child will tell you to not go well. So the mechanism to do it is there, sir. And OECD, UNDP, tax inspectors without border. They call it tax inspectors without border. They didn't call it tax administrators without border. Tax administrators in the world, they have their headquarters in UK. Federal Revenue Chairman normally go there for a meeting. I think he's the chairman now, sir. So how can he be chairman or a member in the tax administration when it comes to to be a member in OECD? That is why they don't want to include them. Nobody can include them in information sharing, which is where the world is surviving from. From there, you can make the money you did not work for. Because our Nigerians who are international citizens who pay their taxes overseas, 70% of that money is our own money, which they are collecting from all these oil companies here. America is collecting their own. Chevron, Total, Mobil. But we have people like that in overseas who say that Nigerians are not rich overseas. We're supposed to assess that money, but we have no tax inspector to assess that type of money. And it's spending me because we have more than what we are generating in general. Even together with the oil money, we cannot see the type of money we get when we get connected to the world taxation formula. That will save us from this mess.
Now, Mr. Orji, this office of a National Inspector General for Tax Revenue, who should saddle it and who are those to work with him?
Come again.
The office that you're proposing, the office of a National Inspector General for Tax Collection, who should saddle this office?
Time for me, look, let me call it again so that we don't collect tax. Nothing concerns us with the money being collected. We only have receipt of tax. Let that thing be clear to Nigeria. It's not duplication of duty. We don't have anything
so it's
to
now National Inspector General for Tax Collection Revenue.
Let me say it again so that you understand, not collection. National Inspector General for Tax Crime Commission is the first name. We are changing it not to sound as if it is a task force. It's now Independent Inspectorate Agency, Independent Revenue Inspectorate Agency of Nigeria. Inspector of Tax. Inspector of Revenue, no longer tax. Because we believe the extent of length of our investigation even go to the custom. Anything called in the revenue of Nigeria, we'll capture it. It will be on our net. We will even tell you how much we have to do our budget because we will have a surplus. Our budget will be remaining. We cannot finish it if we do what I say we should do. So we are coming in. The people that will do the job is there. I told you, even my age, I don't want to work there. I can be only an advisor to make sure that what I planted germinates. I will be throwing it water to germinate by being the engine room to teach them what to do. I know what they will do. I have my 5 years certificate form work already been done, and I've kept it with my partners overseas. Those that will handle the affairs of teaching them technicalities, taking them young by teaching these tax in the primary and secondary school level, telling people what it means by having your right and equally obligation to pay taxes. So starting Nigeria and making tax education in Nigeria is my job. I will do it for 5 years to make sure that Nigerians will even use tax to sing music in their localities. Tax is not a trouble, but the problem there is that if it's not done well, it's a killer. It can kill a country, which is killing us. So we are coming to make sure that tax is transparent and accountable. That is the work of that thing because it will reconcile Nigerian people and the government. The thing will reconcile them because they will now know that government is not against them, or they will be insulting president or senators. They will now know that these people have shown them what they are doing because the reason why a child of 9 years or 10 years will get up and say, let's play crash and kill all the senators because he was angry because of the discussion he's hearing from his parents. So let us do the thing that children will now know that these people are governing us. They are not evil. They are not killers. I may not, they are not killers, but people think, in fact, a lot of people, 80% of Nigerians are angry with the senators and the rep members. And I don't think they are even concerned about the Nigeria that Nigerians are not happy with them. What are they waiting to sign a bill that will save us from this mess?
Now let's look at some other key components of what this tax reform bill is proposing. In ensuring tax compliance and enhancing tax filing, the bill is also proposing a VAT lottery system. What do you make of this VAT lottery system, and do you think it will better tax compliance in Nigeria?
Look, whatever thing they are bringing that sound like as if it's a hash tax is not far from what is happening overseas. My worry is that whether you make tax 10%, the only thing that makes me know that they're supposed to know that people like me will not want them to kill Nigeria because when they tell you 10%, this is the area I want you to look at. Don't bother about charging the lottery or all these things. Yes, they should be charged, but they have the capacity to do that. If they are going to beg MTN to be paying their taxes, people will collect tax from you. They will collect tax from you at the point of even buying your data, they already collect your tax. At the point of borrowing from them, they will collect instant. So whatever thing you do there, you pay. But when they come to pay federal revenue, it will become a discussion, which is not supposed to be like that. If they are discussing with the Guinness company to come and greet federal revenue some months ago, to tell him that they are going to comply with their paying their taxes? Do they supposed to be begged to pay their taxes? Because they knew it's a discussion. And when one starts become discussion, there's tendency of corruption because they will pay their way out. I am saying let them get angry. There's no reason for the directors of Guinness and the MTN to visit Adedeji. It's wrong. It's a taboo. Nobody should do that nonsense. They should visit him in his home. Coming to tell him that we are going to comply with your government, we are going to pay our taxes. You don't know what they're saying. It's enough to even sanction them. There's no reason to say you are begging MTN to pay, or maybe all this TV like this DSTV. You beg them to pay their tax for what? They collect their money up front and they are begging them to pay taxes. Guy, we will get this thing done well when there is tax inspector. I'm telling you. Whatever thing they are saying, they are going to widen the scope to taxes. They are still one-sided. They did not do what will make the customers to know that they are not thieves. They call them thieves. I went around the north. I went around the east. I went out the west. People called FIR thieves. Tell them that it's not correct. People should not regulate their name to that level. They hate them. People of Nigeria hate them so much. Let them know. And the reason is that they may not be too bad, but let there be a witness to whatever or evidence so that they are not bad. Let them not cover Nigeria eye and claim that they are doing a job for us. We are being serviced. That is S. Let them allow us to enjoy that service that is the S there. And allow us to complain and they give us satisfaction we need to have, which cannot be done by them. It's supposed to be separate independent tax inspectorate agency. Every part of the world is doing, and their economy is fine. Ghana have wiped away all the VAT in several different kinds of items and the inflow from international made them to abolish so many VAT in different types of items. And Nigeria is coming to augment and even widen the trouble of Nigerians in VAT because we are depending on the local domestic taxation. When we leave the chunk of the money we're supposed to have to even come and curtail all this local taxation in the barest minimum that people can be able to pay and enjoy their life. There's no tax inspector. Federal revenue is lying to Nigeria. The committee is not telling Nigeria the truth. Let there be transparency and accountability. Let them forget about all this grammar in speaking. I don't need it.
Well, Mr. Philip Orji, we must thank you for your vehement positions with objectivity in preferring solutions to some of Nigeria's challenges, and particularly with your advocacy in tax reforms to better the use of taxpayers' money to provide Nigeria with the amenities we need to be seen to benefit from taxes.
God bless you.
Well,
thank you.
Thank you very much. Now let's highlight some of the points that Mr. Philip Orji raised in wrapping up in 2 minutes before we invite our Abuja Sports editor to join the program. Now, he has talked about the Taiwo Oyedele Committee and the fact that tax administration in Nigeria is not supposed to be a work done in isolation. He has referenced the US, he's referenced India. He has also harped on the need for a quarterly conduct of taxpayer satisfaction survey. He's also said that Nigeria should benefit from tax rebates and tax refunds, much like we have in the US, where such monies go into the payments of rent for those who cannot afford it. He's also talked about the fact that the nomenclature change which has been proposed is part of the documents and proposals he submitted to Mr. Taiwo Oyedele. He's talked about the name FIRS changing to become in Nigeria's people's money to show ownership for the monies paid by Nigerians as taxes. Now, and he has also harped on the need for an Inspector General of Revenue Collection in Nigeria who would oversight the collection of all taxes, even to include the activities of the Nigerian Customs Service. Now, and it's safe to say that he has applauded the National Assembly, saying dating back to the 8th and 9th and 10th Assembly, the lawmakers have given priority to this course, and is hopeful that with such a legislative watchdog, the Nigerian People's Commission would receive the transparency in taxpayers' receipts that will be available on an automated online server. Well, this conversation is available for you to rewatch it on our YouTube channel. We'll take a break, and when we return, it will be the concluding segment on the program this morning, ADBN Sports at 10, as our Abuja editor Samuel Adeleke joins us for a review of sporting stories. Stay with us.
Welcome to the Niger Delta, a region of incredible beauty and stark contrast. From its breathtaking landscapes to its rich cultural heritage, this is a place where history and modernity collide. But beneath this serene surface lies a story of struggle and resilience. The Niger Delta is the lifeblood of Nigeria's economy, home to vast oil reserves that fuel the nation, yet it is a land where the people fight for their share of the wealth. Join us on the program Niger Delta Today as we explore the heart of the Niger Delta, discover the vibrant cultures, the struggles for environmental justice, and the stories of the people who call this place home. This is the Niger Delta, a land of contrast, a story of resilience, a journey of hope. Don't miss our exclusive series, Niger Delta Today, every day at 12 noon, only on ADBN TV. Witness the untold stories, experience the journey, be part of the change.
Welcome to the world where innovation meets opportunity, where ideas become empires. This is Market TV.
I am Idorian Flannan, and every week I'll be taking you inside the dynamic world of marketing and commercial business.
From groundbreaking startups to big businesses, Market TV brings you the best pricing and latest goods on display.
It's all about understanding your audience and staying ahead of the trends.
Witness the creative processes that drive the various brands.
Join us as we dive deep into the strategies that shape the commercial landscape. From streets to traditional advertising and social media, we cover it all.
Whether you're a seasoned professional or an aspiring entrepreneur, Market TV provides the insights you need to thrive.
This show gave us the tool to turn our vision into reality.
So, if you're ready to master the market, tune into Market TV every Saturday at 6 p.m.
No matter wetin I see, enough fit make mouth heavy to talk am. That's now why people dey talk.
You know wetin dey worry you, but you no go fit take help yourself.
In this kind of situation now, what if they really no talk to una? Wetin be the way forward?
They go bury our chairman on Thursday. We go remain here.
Make we talk good where we dey see good, and where we know say we no dey see good, make we also dey talk am.
No woman, no mother deserve to know the grave of his child.
The bank manager, the bank executive, they are the one the government should first face.
People They Talk, the show on Monday to Friday by 5 p.m. on top ADBN TV.
In a world of overwhelming voices where everyone has different opinion on different issues, it is important that we bring the core issue to the fore. Join me, Nancy Bonigo, on Softline as we lend our voices to inform and influence your thoughts and actions. This is not just mere talk, it is an invocative program that touches the core of our existence.
Welcome back to Morning Express this Wednesday morning. It's time to talk sports, and I'll be joined by Samuel Adeleke to take you on ADBN Sports at 10. Well, good morning to you, Mr. Adeleke, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Vito. Good to see you this Wednesday morning. Looking bright and sharp as usual, of course. Like a Manchester City player who was at the Ballon d'Or ceremony, of course, on Monday, but not like a Real Madrid player.
Of course, they boycott the ceremony.
Yeah, definitely. Madrid, of course, are not too happy. They say the club felt disrespected. They believed that Vinicius Jr. should have won it. Part of what we also be talking about on the show this morning. Madrid, of course, pointing to the success they had in the Champions League last season. They also won the Spanish La Liga with Vinicius Jr., of course, a key member of